Please don't spoil the movie by adding your own soundtrack.
And relax.
Hi, all you boys and girls.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Fine.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
We're back with another episode.
I'm
Woo!
looking at the microphone. We're back.
Wait.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going to introduce our podcast first? No.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're episode 6. They know who we
Oh,
are.
you have to say it every time. Say, welcome back to...
Welcome back to Please Don't Spoil the Movie.
Movie.
Okay, that I can do. But every podcast we'd be like, hi, I'm Jordan. Hi, I'm Jade.
Well, usually it's like, welcome back to My Favorite Murder. I'm Karen Kruger, and I'm da-da-da-da.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Jordan's the podcast expert. I don't listen to
I mean,
them.
everyone's different, but they be introducing themselves.
But,
Everyone has their own intro, is what I'm saying.
I suppose. Okay, wait, but so you know how Matilda came out today, and in
Or episode.
and in the episode,
Right.
you were like, well, I hope right now I'm looking for a new job. Hopefully by the time this podcast drops, this episode drops, I'll have a new one by then. And you do.
I do. Isn't
I
that
was
funny?
like, oh my god, full circle moment. I was
Right.
like, wait. I was about to text you, but I was like, I'll just talk about it when we record tonight.
Right, I did notice that, and I was like, thought that would be the answer to my problems. It's not.
There's always gonna be problems.
I
You
guess.
think-
I'm trying to give it like 3 months, 3 to 6 months before I'm like, okay, yeah, this is not for me.
and then on to the next.
Well, you were on your phone, something happened, and
Oh, it's pertaining to the movie. Once we start discussing the movie, though. Well, was any other things going on with life? You started this new job. What else is going
started a
on?
new job. I signed a lease to an apartment because we moved.
She's leaving me. She's moving in with her boyfriend, Kiefer.
I am.
His real name is Chancellor.
Yes.
Well, good luck to the both of you.
Thank
I wish
you.
you all the best.
What's going on in your life?
Literally nothing new. Same old. Just a different day.
Saints.
Yeah, Saints work. That's about it. That's my life. That's it.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Does she have time to breathe? No, never. Okay, but let's get into the meat and
I do have a
potatoes.
question.
Or do you have a question?
Do you have to do appearances so many times, or are you just trying to get them out of the way?
We have to do. Funny that you say that. We have to do a total of 5 appearances. But there's like 100 gazillion of us. So like, do we really need to do 5 appearances?
How many have you done? I think you've done like 5.
I've done 3, but it's funny that you say that. Okay, because our coach, she sends out emails every now and then with appearances, and it'll be like, oh, this appearance next week, I need 4 people, blah, 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 blah. And she sent out one yesterday, I think it was, that was for a pep rally that was at St. Aug.
Yeah.
And usually how she does it is whoever responds first gets it. And then also she goes based off of like who's done the most appearances, who's done the least.
Who needs it?
Yeah, who needs it, who doesn't need it. If you've done a lot, you'll probably be the captain, yada, yada, yada. So as soon as she sent it out, I saw it. And I saw that it was St. Aug. And I was like, I've got to do it. So I just hopped on it and I was like, I'm available. And it's literally during the middle of a work day. So I was like, why did I do that? And then she emailed me back today telling all of us who was on it. And I'm on it, but I'm the appearance captain.
I don't know what that means.
Oh.
She's like, I'm the captain of the appearance. Haven't you heard?
Oh, Jesus, I'm weak.
What does that mean?
Right.
Explain that to everyone.
So each appearance, where there's like, okay, so we have to do appearances, we show up, we wave our pom-poms, say
Right.
hi, take pictures, there's different requirements for different appearances. But each appearance has an appearance captain who is like the leader of the gang.
Right.
Like she's the showrunner. Like
Right.
she's like, she calls the point of contact person. It's like, hey, we're all here. Like
Oh,
you just run the appearance. Like you're
okay.
in charge.
Okay.
And I've never been in charge of an appearance
Okay.
before. And so she
We're going to be calling Auntie Sue Girl.
she assigned me as the appearance captain. And I was like, oh my god, this is the first time I've ever been an appearance captain. Oh my god.
It's just like, bring it on. It's bureaucracy.
I know. I was just like, oh my god, now I'm a captain of something. So I was just like really excited.
Wait, but is your point of contact Auntie Sue, or?
No, it's actually someone who doesn't even work at St. Aug. It's someone who
What is this appearance for?
works for the Saints. So I'm very confused. But it's a pep rally at St. Aug.
What are they pepping, rallying?
I have no idea.
Football season? Football season starting.
Maybe. So yeah, I was
Um,
really excited about that.
It's exciting. Congratulations. Go sign off.
Gotta figure out how I'm gonna tell these people at work, hey, got an appearance. Mind if I come in a little bit late?
Any news? Have you seen a new movie show?
I do not have time to breathe. So have I seen anything? No.
LOL. I have.
What have you seen?
I started playing it in front of you, but I've been watching The Bear.
Oh, okay, right.
The guy from I don't know any of these people's name, but the guy from Shameless.
Who does he play on Shameless?
Lip. Lip. They call him Lip.
Lip. Yes. As in your top lip.
Yes, they call him Lip. It's
Why
hot.
Is that his
it's
name?
sexy. Honestly, don't remember. It's been a while since I watched the show.
Interesting.
If something happened with his lip, I honestly don't remember, but it is. He was scrumptious on Shameless, and he is scrumptious on Bear.
I don't really see it.
It's just the bad boy. You know, like, it's just like his personality. It's the bad boy.
He doesn't give me bad boy. He gives me dingy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's like trailer park
but not
bad
even
boy.
Like in a hot way, just like. Bleh.
I mean, they were poor. And he was stingy on the show, but he's hot. He just has a great personality. Anywho, when I first started watching Bear, because it's a show about chefs, and it's kind of intense, like the Bad Kitchen style of chefs, whatever. He used to work at this very fancy chef. It's this very fancy restaurant. I think it was too stressful for him. His brother killed himself. He came back to work at his family's restaurant. And he's trying to manage it. He sucks. It's been in the crap for a while, blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to watch it. At first I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But then at first I was like, this is too stressful. I have enough stress in my life. I can't watch this. So I can't get into it. And I gave it a couple of days. I watched the second episode and I fell in love with it. I was watching it back to back to back. Because the black characters on the show are great. Their character development, I'm so into. It's like they're growing. Like he's stressful. He's like the main character, but he's not like the story fully revolves around him. To me, the story revolves around the other people working in the kitchen and how they're developing as chefs. And it's inspiring, honestly. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, there's this one character, this black boy, and he was kind of vibing with the main character, Lip. I don't know his name on the show, can't remember. On the show. And he was like picking up on his like skills and stuff, and he found like this book the guy brought from his like when he worked at a fancy restaurant with all these pastries in it, and he really wants to be like a pastry chef, and he's really diving into it, and they're like pushing him or like giving him the support he needs, and he's like really trying to, and he's like upset with himself when he messes up, blah blah blah, but he's like, you're watching him grow and like trying to be a little pastry chef, and he's so adorable, precious.
There's a black girl on there. Is she gonna start dating Lip?
I would hope not. She is giving me like 21 and he's probably like 35. Oh. And I think she's like a child. No, they won't start dating each other. He's like her mentor. And not a sexual way at all. I don't know who his love interest is gonna be, but it's not gonna be her. And if it is, no. She's a child. It's giving much like she's a child and he's an adult. I wonder how old she is, but she's like the youngest person in the kitchen.
Yeah, she does look young.
Yeah.
So that's how I asked, because I was like, how's that gonna work?
Just like how they're gonna fall in love. Right. They don't. So tell us what movie we are spoiling today, Jay.
She had a stroke and none of you did anything.
That is your favorite thing to say. When you rewatch it, when you listen back to this, you're like, oh my god, I say that a lot.
Do you know where I got that from?
No.
I got it from. That show we don't know. RuPaul's Drag Race.
Who said that?
Who's that? What's her name? Cherry Pie.
And not you quoting Cherry Pie.
I know.
Not she left the imprint on your life.
I just told on myself. Well, because she was doing. It was the episode. You know those episodes where they do like the stand up or whatever.
Yes.
So she did her stand-up bit, and she started, like, talking or whatever, and she started stumbling on her words, and she was like, and I just had a stroke, and none of you did anything about it. It was just so funny to really love the ice when she started messing up. And I was just like, I'm going to steal that. So, now it's mine.
That's funny.
Well, anyway.
Oh, yes.
Okay, but back to what we were...
Tell me.
Discussing and what we're here to do.
We're spoiling today.
We're taking it back to the 80s. We're going back to the 80s again, baby. You know, we're bringing it back.
If you don't know, I think it's our favorite genre of movies.
Yeah, the 80s teen coming of age movie is top notch. It's untouched, baby.
I'm gonna put y'all on because I know a lot of our listeners, our friends, and our family. Hey, girls, they don't know these movies. They don't know these '80s movies.
They don't.
They don't know The Breakfast Club. They don't know Heathers. But these are great movies that are. This one is a ridiculous movie that's just so fun.
It's just so worth spoiling.
It was the original Mean Girls.
I'm glad. That was literally coming out of my mouth. Okay. You think Regina George was bad?
Yeah.
Wait until you meet these girls.
Yes.
Okay. Burn Book. That's child's
right.
play to them. Child's play. Yes. You wanna make out with Coach Carr? Oh, really?
Right.
That's.
We're gonna kill you.
This is nothing.
We're gonna murder you.
Right. This is nothing compared to
yes.
them. Mean Girls wish the Plastics wish they were this ruthless.
They were trying to touch it.
They wish they were this vile.
It was 80s. This is 80s.
This is 80s.
bullying.
This is a time to be a teenager. The worst time.
Right.
And these girls are just the next level. Okay.
Did we say the name?
So with all that being said,
yeah.
the movie that we are spoiling today is Heather.
Woo!
If you didn't hear me, Heather.
When I was just a little girl, my mother told me who I want to be.
Right,
when I be pretty, when love is wrong, what does it say to me? I'm going to sing it, so hold on. Should I?
She's not done.
What will be. Love it.
Okay, just so for all of you know, for all of you to know, that is the intro song to Heathers. So thank you for that rendition, Drew.
No problem.
So shall we begin the summary?
Let's.
So, okay.
What are you starting off with? A summary of the movie? Okay.
The summary of the movie. So, Veronica.
Yes.
Starring Winona Ryder.
Yes.
Played by Winona Ryder. That is the young lady from Sweeney Todd.
She's currently
not Sweeney Todd. Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, she's currently in Stranger Things. She's the mom in Stranger Things.
The mom in Stranger Things. She's in Beetlejuice. She was real in the 90s. She was like the Molly Ringwald, but like make it dark. Okay, so Veronica, played by Winona Ryder, is part of the most popular clique at her high school, the Heathers. But she disapproves of the other girls' cruel behavior. When Veronica meets JD, a.k.a. Jason G.
Hottie.
Played by Christian Slater.
Yes.
The new boy in school, he pushes her to confront the clique leader, Heather Chandler, and causes them to do something that they can't take back. Soon Veronica realizes that JD intentions aren't so pure, and she races to stop JD while also clashing with the clique's new leader, Heather Duke. Okay, so just for clarification here before we dive in this movie, there are 3 characters with the same name. All of their names are Heather, hence the title of the movie. They are the Heathers. Why Veronica, the main character, why her name also isn't Heather, and why is she in this group called the Heathers and her name isn't Heather, I do not know. That's up between the Lord and the writers. But there's 3 characters with the name Heather.
I always was confused if their names were actually Heathers or if they chose that name to be in the... For the longest, I just thought that they became Heathers once they were officially initiated in a group, and then they were bestowed the name Heather. I never knew that they literally... Their birth name is Heather.
Yeah.
Because I just thought...
don't get why she's in the group if her name is not Heather.
I don't get... We can talk about it more, but I don't get why she wants to be in the group.
Right.
She's an interesting character.
Yeah, she doesn't fit in. Yeah, she's really weird. She's very complex.
She doesn't seem like she wants to fit in with the group, but whatever. Yeah. We'll get there.
Well, that's the whole point of the movie anyway. But, so yeah. So, the clique name is Heather. It comprises of 4 people. 3 of them named Heather, the main character being Veronica. Okay, so throughout this movie, we're going to identify them as Heather number 1, Heather number 2, and Heather number 3.
In the ranking order? What is this number system?
This is a ranking order.
Okay.
This is rank. Okay?
Are you going to mention their colors too?
Yes, okay. So, before we dive deep into the movie, each of them have a color. This is why I was like, oh my god, what? Okay, this is why I was like, oh my goodness, earlier. And you're like, why are you doing it? And I'm going to tell you once we start. Okay, so Each of them have a color associated with
Yes.
them. So Heather Chandler, who is the leader of the group, she's the head Heather. Her color is red.
Red, yes.
So Heather number 1, Heather Chandler, red. Heather number 2, she's like in the middle. She's really just like Heather number 2 to me. She's just like she's go with the flow. She's like I'm popular and pretty, and I'm just kind of like.
If we're gonna compare it to Mean Girls, red Heather is Regina. Second girl, the one you was. What's her color? The second girl, yellow. She is kind of like what's the dumb one? Karen, because she just goes with the flow. She's not making any waves.
In there.
And then the last one is Gretchen Wieners because she's the most hated.
Yeah. So Heather number 2, her color is yellow. Her name is Heather McNarma or something.
Beautiful name.
Not that it matters because she's always going to be identified as Heather number 2.
Yeah, she's gorgeous, by the way.
And then Heather number 3, that is Heather Duke.
Gretchen Wieners.
And that is played by Shannon Dorothy, who is from 90210, Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh my God, she is. Good
and
for
she
her.
was on Charmed, the head sister.
Yeah.
Prue Page,
The head sister. Was she replaced?
She was replaced.
Yes. Okay.
Her character dies.
Whoa. What?
Yeah.
They lose a sister?
She dies. Yeah. That's when the other one comes in.
She's
Their
a
half sister.
I did not know that. I thought she was replaced, like French Prince of Beverly Hills style.
And Alyssa
Fresh Prince of Beverly Hills. I
Milano.
can't get it out. Say it again.
What?
I thought she was replaced like Fresh Prince of Beverly Hills style.
Oh.
And Bib.
Yeah. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, yeah. Well, her and Alyssa Milano, they didn't get along. So I don't know if she quit.
Oh, you're
they
talking about.
fired her, they wrote her off. I don't know, but yeah.
Which one was that?
Which one was Alyssa Milano?
Yeah.
The really pretty one. You know, the one who like the warlock.
Oh.
You know, the really pretty one.
Because you said head sister, and I always thought
The oldest sister.
Oh, okay, she doesn't.
Okay, so there's the oldest sister. Because there's Piper. All their names start with P. The oldest, there's
the thicker
Prue
one
or something. Piper, and then Paige or something.
Hold on.
Did you get it yet? What are the names?
Relax.
It's like a 4-letter word. Why have you Googled it?
So Piper is who I think is the leader, the oldest sister.
Yes, she becomes the leader once the original leader leaves.
Oh, and
Prue. So Prue was originally the head sister. She was the oldest, so she was the runner.
She's the oldest? I always thought oldest. Piper was the oldest.
She becomes the oldest once Prue dies. Okay, so listen.
No, what?
Prue.
Oh, Prue dies.
Yes.
And then
yes.
Paige takes her spot.
Okay, so it's Prue, Piper, and Phoebe originally. Prue dies. Piper's the middle sister. So Piper goes up in rank, and now she becomes the head. Now Piper's the head now. Phoebe is in the middle, and then Paige.
And who didn't she get along with, you think?
Prue and Phoebe didn't get along. So Shannon Dorothy and Alyssa Milano.
Shannon Dorothy and Alyssa Milano. Okay, that's interesting.
So once Prue is written off, Piper becomes the leader. Now she's the older sister, and
then Paige came in later.
Yeah, she's their half sister.
That is so funny. Okay.
Okay, back to because that was a detour. But okay, so Shannon Dorothy is Heather number 3. She's green. Okay, so let's go over it again. Red is Heather Chandler. That's Heather number 1. Heather number 2 is in yellow. That's Heather McNarma or some crap like that. And then Heather number 3 is Shannon Dorothy. That is Heather number 3. She's in green. Now you notice in this movie they play croquet.
Yes.
When I was Googling, I was like, oh, I got to figure out what the little goal post is in croquet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's that called? Just for later in the story. And I was like, what's the name of this thing? So I Googled croquet. In croquet, there's a red ball, a yellow ball, a green ball,
and a black
and a blue ball.
Oh, blue. Okay.
That's why, and they play croquet
all the time.
And that's why they all have their assigned colors.
That's funny. That's
Isn't
cute.
that crazy?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
Look at that. Look at that. That flow.
Who's supposed to know that? Because we're not rich white people. We don't play croquet.
It's giving Bridgerton.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes. So throughout the movie, they all wear red, blue,
Love
yellow, and green.
Do you want to be there from Halloween?
Huh?
You want to be there from Halloween?
We need 4 more people. 2 more people.
Well, one of them died. Oh.
No. We need all the characters. I won't stand for it.
Wait, you want there's 4 of them.
There's 4.
I guess we have to have 2 other sisters.
Okay, so let's get back down to the facts and figures. So the movie was written by Daniel Waters and directed by Michael Lehman. Both of these gentlemen, this is their first debut film. So this is the first film Daniel Waters ever wrote, and this was the first film that Michael Lehman ever directed.
Lovely.
So Daniel Waters actually, I don't think he has anything else besides this, but he wrote the screenplay while he was working at a video store. And when you look up his picture, he looks like the type of man that would work at a video store.
What's his name? Sorry.
Daniel Waters.
Keep going.
And then, so the film was released, and was released on March 31st, 1989. The budget, would you like to guess the budget while you look up who Daniel Waters looks like?
I agree with your depiction of him. The budget, I did read that it was shot in 33 days.
Yes, it was.
And
I wasn't going to include that.
I thought it was a fun fact. So I'm going to say the budget was $1 million.
You're close. You're getting better at this.
I mean, I just need to know how long did it take. If we had people on set for a month, the budget should be small. Right. But I'll say 2 million.
Hike it up just a little.
3 million.
Okay, there you go. The budget was $3 million. Now, would you like to guess the box office?
I'm hoping that it was a success for its time. So I'm going to go ahead and say 50 million.
Okay.
Guess again. 60 million.
Guess again.
80 million.
Guess again.
100.
The box office.
Thank you.
Was $1.1 million.
1.1?
It made $1 million. The budget was 3. It made $1 million. The movie was a box office bomb.
I can't with Hollywood.
A horrible job at the box office. The movie was a box office bomb. It was a flop.
That's so sad.
Isn't it terrible? But apparently it was still
classic.
Critically acclaimed. It won a couple awards. Some award show I've never heard of, but it won the Independent Spirit Award for Best First Feature. Never heard of that award. And then it also received, the writer received the Edgar Award for Best Motion Picture Screenplay. I don't know what award that is. But.
That's funny. Matilda, the movie released today. Also, critically acclaimed, terrible box office.
A lot of parallelisms here today.
Yeah.
But today, it's still considered a cult classic film and is considered one of the greatest coming of age films of all time.
Interesting.
That's from Wikipedia.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
But it also has since been adapted into a musical and television series. Don't ask me about either of them because I have nothing.
I did notice that because when I was trying to watch it, I was like, okay, I thought it was going to pull me to Tubi. Because that's what we watched. It's on Tubi for free.
Oh yes, you can watch this on Tubi for free. And if you have a Roku TV, you can watch it on Roku channel for free as well.
Tight. And then when I looked it up, I was like, Heathers, and it was like a TV show came up, and I was like confused.
I see. Yeah.
So I do concur. There is a TV show out.
Right. Okay, so
don't write me. Right.
On to the next.
Yes.
Okay, so you know how in the past movies that we reviewed, we're like, oh, this person was up for this. This person was up for this role. They couldn't do it. They turned it down. They didn't get it. Yada yada yada. Not much of that happened here.
Really?
Nobody wanted to do this movie. Nobody was interested because everyone was like, it's too dark. It's gonna ruin whoever's reputation. It's too grim.
Right.
We don't get it. Yada yada yada.
But Renee Ryder wanted to do it really bad.
She did. So there were a few people who did audition, but I feel like usually we just have a laundry list. It's very short. So what I have here, this is all Wikipedia. I'm quoting my sources. Many actors and actresses turned down the project because it was just such a dark subject. But 2 people of notable names, one who I've never heard of, were up for the part of Veronica. Justine Bateman, I have no idea who she is.
Bateman sounds like an interesting last name, but
not to be confused with Justin Bateman.
You're right.
Bateman
That's only
Yeah.
Justine, baby. I don't know what she's in. When I saw her picture, didn't recognize her, so I really can't help.
Cousin or something.
And then also up for Veronica was Jennifer Connelly. She's a little bit more familiar. She looks like Demi Moore, but she's not Demi Moore. She was.
She looks like Demi Moore, but don't get it confused. She's not.
She's not. I don't like know what she be in, but she like if you Google her, you'd be like, oh, this chick.
What's her name again?
Jennifer Connelly.
That name does sound familiar.
So tell everybody what she's in because I don't remember.
Jennifer.
I know she's in what's that movie?
Oh, this lady. Yes.
Yep,
She's in that movie with what's it called?
How to Gain a Dude? No.
He's just not that into you.
Yeah,
and she dates
Bradley Cooper.
And he cheats on her or something like that for the one Johansson who can play every character, even black people.
What? Oh, she's like, I can play a tree. I can play a transgender person. I can play a television screen. I'm Scarlett Johansson. I can do it all. Like, girl, sit down.
Ooh, they ate her up for that.
They ate her up and down. They didn't let that one down. Ooh. Anywho.
Lordy.
Okay, well, also, lady. Winona Ryder, who was only 16 at the time, which is crazy. She really wanted the part so bad, really, really bad. But the writer Daniel Waters, who, remind you, looks like the type of man
a tree
who would work at a video store, said she wasn't pretty enough.
Sir,
have you looked in the mirror?
What's funny? Recently, she did an interview for Stranger Things, and on it, she was saying during her time, she wasn't I think she was insecure because she wasn't considered one of the pretty girls of her time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what?
Because she's not blonde hair and blue eyes. She's pale and she has dark hair.
That was so upsetting to hear.
Awkward. She's really like the Kristen Stewart of the 80s.
I don't know, but it bothered me. I was like, that is crazy because you are beautiful. And I can't imagine.
She's edgy pretty.
Yeah. Right.
She's
which I'm into.
Goth pretty.
Yeah. I like that. I don't know.
But she's not like girl next door. She doesn't have that look. She's I'm pretty, but I'm recluse.
Recluse. I feel like you've been using that word a lot. I forgot when you also used
that
word.
I don't think I've ever used that word.
You have. Because I only know the word from you. But
whatever.
But good for her. She's an amazing actress.
Yeah. So
she continues to push the button.
Correct. So she begged to have that role. And then he was like, you're not pretty enough. But then her agent was also her agent begged her not to do the role because she was like, this is going to ruin your reputation. This is going to ruin your career. Please don't do it. But she ended up doing it. She ended up getting the role.
Yes, honey.
So, and it worked out in her favor because this is a cult classic. Brad Pitt.
I didn't say that.
Read for the role of JD.
He could have done it.
But I don't think he could have.
He's when I think Brad Pitt, I think a strange person.
I don't think dark like this range.
I think early in his career he could have went that direction. I feel more he's action movies. But I'm thinking Brad Pitt jumping on top of a couch is giving the same energy of how he's giving at the end of this movie.
Tom Cruise.
Oh my God. Yeah. It is Tom Cruise.
So were you thinking Brad Pitt this whole time, or were you thinking Tom Cruise?
Well, clearly
you're thinking
Tom Cruise, honestly.
No, Brad
Pitt.
No, Brad Pitt could play an idiot. He could have played one of the jocks.
Yeah, he could have done it.
He could have played.
But Tom Cruise? Okay, we're going to go ahead and put that out there. He could have played that.
Maybe. Yeah, Tom Cruise could have done it. But he wasn't.
Don't roll your eyes at me.
Jesus Christ.
Relax.
Learn your
I can't remember every white man in Hollywood. I'm sorry. There's so many who are successful. It's not my fault.
This country was built for them. You ought to know. Anywho, so Brad Pitt was up for the role, but he was rejected from it.
Yeah. Sit down, pretty boy.
Right. He's like, you're too good.
Yeah. Calm down.
And then Christian Slater, who got the role, who plays JD.
Hottie.
Hottie. So apparently he thought he did really bad at the auditions, and once it was over, he threw this big temper tantrum and threw the script in the garbage and was like, I didn't get it. And then he got it.
Loved it.
Yeah. So after Winona was casted, he was casted. And then, so Heather Graham, you know Heather Graham? You know who that is?
Sounds familiar. Maybe don't. No.
Tell me what she in.
She's in this movie called Heathers.
She's not in the movie. No. Okay, Heather Graham.
Yes, tell me.
She's in The Hangover. You remember when they get the first one? Remember when he gets married?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, she's also in Austin Powers.
That's Heather Graham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one? She's in the second one.
Yeah. I know
The Spy Who Shagged Me. That's the one. So she was offered the part of Heather Chandler, Heather number 1, Red Heather, the lead Heather. I think she could have done it, but she turned it down because her parents were like, "This movie is not. It's too dark." They disapproved of it. They're like, "We can't be in it."
That's funny.
So then Kim Walker, who plays Heather number 1, Red Heather, she was dating Christian Slater at the time.
Oh.
So I guess
Drama.
They just offered her the role. Like, I don't even know. I don't know if she auditioned for it, but
it's not what you know till you know.
Yeah. And then Lisanne, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Lisanne Falk, who is Heather number 2, Yellow Heather. She was 23 years old at the time. She lied. She said she was a teenager. You know how that goes.
Right. She's gorgeous.
And then 17-year-old Shannon Doherty, Heather number 3, Green Heather, wanted the role of Veronica, but Winona had already gotten it. So the producers asked her to audition for Heather Chandler, which is Heather number 1. And she was more interested in playing Heather Duke, which is Heather number 3.
That's a good part.
Yeah, Heather number 3. That's the role that she got. So she wanted to play that role after she couldn't play Veronica.
Okay.
And they wanted her to dye her hair blonde to like match the other 2 Heathers.
Oh.
And she was like, "No, I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, "Fine." So, but they were like, "You can't have the same hair as Veronica," so they made her dye her hair red.
I think it works.
Yeah.
Because she kind of doesn't fit in.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at her hair right now.
And then they also said like towards like throughout filming, Heather Doherty, not Heather Doherty, Shannon Doherty, which is Heather number 3. They were like she was kind of like a handful because she didn't want to do like, I guess she was like very conservative and wholesome. So, but like look at the movie that you're in, honey. So she didn't want to do like a lot of the cursing. And a lot of
she said a big curse word in the movie.
A lot of the original words and lines that she had, she didn't want to say. And then I
guess it's a different time.
Yeah. And then a lot of people said like Heather number 2 said like she didn't have much of like a sense of humor and she took herself too seriously.
I can see that.
And then they said when the movie came out and like they were all at the premiere or something, like she ran out crying because she realized the film was like a dark comedy and not like the drama that she signed up for, and she just felt bamboozled or something.
That I think that is a very. I always wonder, like, when actors read a script, how they know, like, this is going to be a good movie. Because, like, you can read a script and, like, the way they put it in film, it could be completely different. And I always wonder, like, how they, like, know this is going to all come together. Like, Bear, it is, like, it's almost, you think it's just, like, people talking in the kitchen, but it's also, like, pretty. Like, they have, like, pretty scenes and stuff. Like, the way they do that stuff, that's what makes it, like, a great show. And you can't see that. Right. And I wonder how they just be guessing and be like, yeah, I picked a group. Right.
We'll see how this one goes.
Because I could totally see how that happened.
Yeah. So, well,
because she thought she was in a movie about like.
Right.
Also, I should say this movie has a lot of suicide. So if you're sensitive to that, I would go ahead and skip this episode.
We're having a suicide warning.
Yeah, because this movie is very heavy on suicide. But yes.
All right. Let's begin.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We finally get here.
Yes.
Okay, so the opening scene, we meet the Heathers. There's Red Heather, Yellow Heather, and Green. So they're playing croquet.
Do you remember their names, their last names? Do we have to call them by their real names?
There's Heather Chandler.
It's Red Heather.
That's Red Heather.
Uh-huh.
Heather, Schneider, I don't know. And then Green Heather is Heather Duke.
That's cool. All right, pretty good. Yellow Heather is not that important. So
yeah, Yellow Heather's not that important, so I don't remember her last name anyway.
But
Heather Chandler is the lead one.
Green, Red.
Duke is the weak one.
The up and coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Green.
don't spoil it.
So, well, that's what we do here.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so the scene opens. They're playing croquet. Yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm. It's a dream.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. I think so. In this part, they're playing
croquet.
Croquet. I don't know why I keep want to call it croquet. Croquet, and the little whole thing is Veronica's head.
So they're hitting the ball, but then unbeknownst to us, they're hitting the ball at Veronica's head.
Yeah, but
and then it's revealed they're hitting the ball at Veronica's head.
I think it's supposed to be like to show their dynamic, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you kind of see the dynamics unfold. Red Heather is like, I really can't compare it to anything other than like Mean Girls.
Yes, it is.
Like Red Heather is Regina George, Green Heather, Heather Duke is Gretchen Wieners, and then Yellow Heather is
the other
Karen.
one. And we forget her name because she's not that important in this movie. It's like kind of similar because I remember we watched Mean Girls where we were like, dang, what happened to Karen? Because they don't even talk about Yellow Heather until like halfway towards the end of the movie.
So yeah, for sure.
Very similar.
But anywho, and then she's walking down, the scene transitions, she's walking down the hallway, and she's like,
they're in high
internal
school
monologue. And she's talking about high school.
But throughout the whole movie, Veronica will be talking in her diary. It's like her internal monologue. It's how she expresses herself.
Right, and that's what she's doing as she's walking down the hallway.
Yes.
So then while she's writing in her diary, she's sitting on like the steps writing in her diary, she's interrupted by Yellow Heather and Green Heather, and they bump into her, and they're like, Red Heather, Heather Chandler, she wants to see you in the cafeteria. And she's like, fine.
Right. Time to get to work, girl.
Right. Fall in line.
Yes.
So then they go to the cafeteria. Veronica's like, hey, Heather. And then so Heather Chandler is like, look, I need you to write a note from, as if it's from, oh my God, what's his name? Kurt Kelly.
Who's
very handsome, by the way.
You think?
Oh my God. Such a strap.
I guess I never thought about it because they're such douchebags.
He's so good looking. Honestly, I feel like if Kurt Kelly would have came up as a teenager in like the 2000s, he would have been a nice guy. He didn't stand a chance.
Oh, in the movie world.
Yeah.
Okay.
If this was set in like 2000s, he would have been like the jock who falls in love with the nerdy girl when she transforms into like a pretty chick. Because he kind of has a little bit of depth.
Maybe.
But since this movie's set in the 80s, and the 80s were a vicious time, he didn't stand a chance at being a good person.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jocks in the 80s versus jocks in the 2000s, different
completely different
plots.
Dynamics.
Different plots.
If this was 2001,
yes, he would have fallen in love with the nerd. Okay, I get what you're saying. Right.
Yeah. But anywho, so Heather is like, I need you to write this note as if it's from Kurt Kelly, and you need to give it to Martha Dumbtruck. And the letter is basically like, oh, Martha, you are so gorgeous and pretty. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And
Martha Dumbtruck is...
Her name is actually Martha Dunstock.
But
they call her Martha.
Dumbtruck. She's not the...
She's not that girl.
She's not the girl next door. She's a little thick. She's got this 1980s mullet that isn't the best. It's not the best. She's a loser.
Yeah.
She's bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So
for whatever reason, the girls like to pick on her. She's minding her own business, but these girls like to make her life hell.
And she's basically a mute. She doesn't even speak.
She sits off to the side by herself.
Yeah, she's fat. Okay. That's why I hate her.
That's why they pick on her.
That's why I hate her.
Right.
But so Veronica's like, look, I don't have anything against Martha Dumbstock. She calls her by her real name. And Heather's basically like, and you don't have anything for her either.
Well,
and then so Veronica is like, okay, whatever.
Let me fall in line because, this is my group now and I have to follow.
Like, this is who I am.
Right. Confusing. Because she doesn't want to do this stuff, but then no one told her to join the popular group.
Right. She wanted this.
Yeah. And these are nice girls. You know that.
Right. You knew what you were signing up for.
So do what you gotta do.
You knew what you were signing up for. So then, and then we transition to...
They deliver the note to Martha.
Okay, yeah. And then they put the note on Martha Dumbstruck tray.
Should we respect her and call her by her real name or by the name that they call her
I
in the movie?
will be calling her Martha Dumbtruck. Dumbtruck.
Right. We're giving it to the bullying. It's okay.
I mean,
it is what it is.
That's what this movie's all about. Okay. So then we transition to while we wait for Martha to find the note. I guess lead Heather, she's on like the newspaper.
She's on like a yearbook, newspaper or something.
Newspaper editor, and her segment is like poll questions.
Lunchtime poll is what she calls it.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, I've got a new lunchtime poll question for the day. And she's like, Veronica, come with me.
I wonder why. But...
Right. So they're walking around. She's going to the popular table. Before they go to the popular table, Veronica and lead Heather, they bump into, what's her name? Betty Quinn? Betty Finn.
Yes.
Betty Finn. Betty Finn is an old friend of Veronica, a childhood friend. And Veronica's like, oh, Betty, I'm so sorry I missed your party. Blah, 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 blah. And Betty Finn's just like, oh, it's okay. Your mom told me you had a date that night. I would have missed my own party for a date.
So sad. And
pitiful.
She should have been at the words.
Right. So they leave Betty Quinn, Finn, whatever her name is.
Finn.
To go to this popular table to ask the poll. What's the poll question?
You win $5 million on the same day aliens plan to blow up the world in 2 days. What will you do with all that cash money, honey?
And first of all, you have 2 days to spend the money.
Yeah, I'm spending
One of the popular guys replies to her, well, I would just slide that wad over to my dad because he is like the top
which is the
in the state.
Stupidest.
What are you gonna do in 2 days? Your dad's not gonna flip this money.
No, he's like, my dad's gonna invest it, and then by the time we die, it'd be worth $1 billion.
Like, no.
So
like, you're dying in 2 days. Why are you sliding it to your father?
The worst person in the whole cast.
And then the other,
terrible person.
And then the other girl, she's like, if I was given that money, I would donate it to every single starving and homeless person.
It's the world's ending.
And then Veronica is literally like, ugh, get me out of here. She sarcastically has this snarky remark. And then
I don't blame her because these answers are stupid.
So Veronica walks off after she makes her snarky comment, and Heather's just like, do you have to be such a B word? And then Veronica's like, I just want to talk to different types of people. And she was like, I don't see why we can't do that. And then Heather goes, look at me softly with a chainsaw. Do I look like Mother Teresa? And she's like, if I was, I wouldn't have a problem talking to these nerds. But I'm not Mother Teresa, and I want to associate with the popular people. And then Veronica's basically like, do you not know? So Veronica kept it real in this moment. Veronica was like, do you not know that you're a piranha? No one really likes you. And then Heather is basically like, look, they either want to sleep with me or they either want to be my friend. But she's like, at the end of the day, honey, I am worshipped at this school.
And I'm only a junior.
She's got that status? And she's only a junior.
Right.
Wait till senior year.
She's like girl boss.
Can you imagine the power she'll have as a senior?
Honestly, she was already, we don't know yet, but she was already, because they're going to this ribbon party. She was already working on her college career.
Right.
But surprisingly, Red Heather gives in on this, and she's like, "Fine, we'll talk to the frickin' losers."
Oh yeah,
of the school.
And then so we see them asking different social groups for the
What would you
the poll question?
What would your answer be?
If I had $2 million in aliens,
$5 million, I would charter a plane to the Galapagos Islands or some tropical area in Europe or something, and rent a mega yacht for those 2 days. And just live lavishly. And then
I just feel like that illustrious of a trip you can't plan in 2 days before the
I have $5 million. I could do whatever I want. I'm a millionaire.
I guess you're right.
I throw money at the situation.
I guess you're right there.
I could do whatever I want when I have money.
I don't know. But I did appreciate some of the answers as they go around asking the social groups. I don't know what I would do. I did like how Betty Finn said she would throw at the end of the year party. But my personal favorite is when Ram, the best friend to Kurt Kelly, who's also a football jock, he said that he would pay to have Madonna sit on his face.
If he can have Madonna sit on his face?
And have her ride it like a bulldog or something crap like that.
Bulldog.
What's it?
I don't know, but I hope he doesn't say bulldog.
Not a red bull. What's this?
A bull.
A bull. He said something like that. He said, and have her ride it like the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Bulldog. And I was like, oh, I don't know that one.
I'll pay to have her sit on my
face. If that can happen, then I can get a yacht. That's what I'm saying.
I guess.
Now
Martha notices the note.
Oh, yeah.
So now after we've taken this lunchtime poll, Martha notices the note on her lunch tray. She opens it up. She reads it. And, she musters up the courage to walk over to Kurt Kelly. Now, everyone, the Heathers, they see that she now notices the note they're watching in glee.
Right.
And then so she walks up to Kurt Kelly and Ram, who is Kurt Kelly's friend. And she hands Kurt the note. And Kurt just kind of like looks at it.
It's like secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah. And then he busts out laughing, and then Ram busts out laughing. The Heathers burst out laughing, and then now everyone is basically just laughing at poor Martha.
She runs off.
And she runs off in embarrassment.
Poor thing.
Poor thing.
I don't know why she thought that was true.
See Martha. You just wanna give her a hug. She's just like this. Oh, she's just so pitiful.
I know. I don't know why she thought that was even real.
Why she thought that was the option for her, I don't know.
Right, and then why she was like, let's go talk about this note. Even
right. She wasn't even like, hey Kurt, she hands him the note.
Yeah,
like,
this is what you gave
remember
me.
You gave me this?
Yeah. I wouldn't even address, if someone gave me a note like that, I wouldn't go up to them and talk to them about it. Girl's got gall.
She's got chutzpah.
She's like, I've been waiting for this day.
She's got chutzpah. Okay, so they run off. You can tell Veronica's a little bit bothered by it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then, we forgot to mention, throughout this entire scene of them in the cafeteria, this very dark and mysterious Jason Dean, a.k.a. JD.
He wears like a trench coat.
Trench coat.
That summarizes his personality.
Think, oh boy from the Breakfast Club. Oh my god, what is his name? John Boehner.
Boehner.
John Boehner, Breakfast Club. That's literally what JD is giving.
Yeah.
He's watching Veronica this whole time. Like, he can see the facial expressions that she's making when she's like uneasy and like she doesn't like what Heather is doing. Like, he's peeping that. So when Martha runs off and Veronica looks all like, sad about it, he's watching.
He's like, tisk tisk girl, tisk tisk.
Yeah. So then next scene, they leave the cafeteria. Quick side note, they go to the bathroom. Green Heather throws up. She's bulimic. Yada, yada, yada. So after they, set aside 5 minutes of their lunch break to watch Green Heather vomit, they go back into the cafeteria, and Veronica locks eyes on JD. And Yellow Heather is basically like, oh, that's Jason Dean.
He's new.
Like she's like, oh, go talk to him.
Right.
So Veronica goes up and she talks to him and she asks him the whole question.
But Veronica likes it, whatever he says.
They have like they have a little chemistry. They googly eye.
Yeah, they're like polar opposites. They're both like dark. They're both wearing black. Cause she wears all black the whole movie, right?
She wears blue.
She wears blue.
Yeah.
She wears black. Well, he wears black. I don't know.
She wears like
a dark
black
blue.
and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just like the perfect.
And he wears black.
Yeah, they're like the perfect.
But they're both pale as holy hell.
Yeah.
They both have jet black hair and they're both
right. Pale. It's also kind of creepy. Like, I'm looking at them right now because we're playing in the background. They kind of look like brother and sister, and it's kind of grossing me out.
They honestly, they look like cousins.
Yeah, they are the exact same pale color. Weird.
So while they're talking, Kurt and Ram, the two jocks, they're hating from outside the club, and Ram's basically like, oh my god, why is this new guy talking to Veronica?
Scamming on all of our squirrel.
Scamming on all our squirrel. Bring it on reference. And then he's like, we should beat him up. And then Kurt's like, now, Ram, we are seniors, but we should scare him a little bit. Right. So they go over to talk to him. They have this exchange. They call him a gay slur. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Ram says something like, I didn't know they let insert gay slurs into this high school now. And then JD's like, yeah, well, I didn't know they let in assholes or something like that. And they're like, what? They're like, what did you just call me, bro? And then he's like, let me repeat myself. So JD gets up, and in that moment, he pulls out a gun on them. And then you literally see him fire 2 shots into their face.
And the screen goes black.
And then the screen goes black.
And then the next scene is like back at Veronica's house, and they're playing croquet again.
Not cricket, croquet. Is cricket and croquet the same thing?
I have no idea.
I think cricket. One of them.
Don't introduce a new word for me.
One of them, they're on a horse.
Cricket. They gotta be on a horse.
Cricket, they're on a horse. Croquet's on
a horse, maybe. Cricket. Now I have cricket, croquet, and croquet in my head. So we're back at Veronica's house, and they're discussing Jason's gun violence actions.
Yeah. And lead Heather is like, he needs to be in jail. Yellow Heather, she's like, no. Yeah, she's just like, no, they'll probably just like suspend him. Like, I don't think he should get expelled. And then Veronica's like, I loved it.
Right.
She's great.
By the way, he fired 2 blinks.
Yeah, right. He fired, so he didn't kill him.
Yeah, there was no bullets in the gun. He just carries around a gun with blanks in it.
Yeah, so just fired blank shots.
He should be. I agree with Red Heather. He should be expelled.
Oh no, for sure.
That is crazy thing to do. And to fire it, no, he should be expelled. I don't know. It's like, okay, I'll see you at school in a week.
Absolutely
no.
Not. Right. And then so while they're playing cricket, croquet, cricket, whatever, crack, croquet. Yes. Mm-hmm. So while they're playing,
but also Red Heather brings up, because we didn't mention it in the cafeteria, she brought it up, but she brings up the Remington party again.
Oh right. So yeah, Yellow Heather is like, oh, tonight you two are going to the party, talking to lead Heather and Veronica, and Yellow Heather's like, are y'all excited? And then Red Heather is like, she turns to Veronica and she's like, honey, if you mess this up, it's kegers with preschoolers for the rest of the year for you.
Yeah, and I guess Remington I don't know if it's a real college, but it's a college. So they're going to a college party in their junior. So it's, it's a big deal.
Right. And then Heather's basically like, girl, if you embarrass me, like, you're cut. You're out.
And
you're
I think, and Veronica's nervous.
And Veronica's like, whatever.
So the next scene, they are at a gas station, and Veronica and Heather have stopped at this gas station on their way to the party. Mm-hmm. And Veronica runs into the Jason Dean randomly. Honestly, I kind of think he's stalking her.
Oh, no.
He's, like, stalking her.
Oh, he's very...
He, like, shows up later on in the movie. Actually, I don't think he's stalking her. I think he's stalking Red Heather.
No.
Because I'll bring it back.
Hear me out.
I'll bring it back. But I think he's stalking the popular kids that he wants to kill. Wait. Okay, I'll bring it back. I don't want to spoil it. But hanging on to there. But he's stalking someone.
It's Veronica.
I think it might be Red Heather.
Anywho, so Veronica and Red Heather, they stop at the gas station. They run into JD. JD and Veronica are having this conversation.
Corn nuts are PQ. Do you remember that part?
What do you want? She's like spicy or regular or something.
No, she's like corn nuts or PQ. She's like PQ. Oh. I don't know what the hell that is, but every time she says that, I'm like, what?
She says corn nuts?
Corn nuts or PQ, something like that. She's like, PQ.
She
says corn nuts. Huh. Deep.
Look at that. Full circle.
Full circle moment.
Full circle.
Anywho. I just like the way she says that.
Yeah. So Veronica's in the gas station. JD walks up on her. They have this little conversation. He's talking about how he's moved all over Dallas, Baton Rouge. Shout out. That he's lived all over
the Americas.
He's been to so many high schools in so many years.
And we learn his dad's into construction. That's why they move or whatever. His dad kind of has a big role in his.
Yes, his formative years. His dad plays a big role.
Yeah, him moving also has. Yeah, but we'll get there.
So,
they talk about the gun event.
They talk about his little school shooting, his mock school shooting that he did. And then he says something to the effect like, extreme measures are always recognized or something like that.
That's important.
Yeah.
For the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah,
he says something to that effect.
Extreme others, that's an extreme freaking boy.
Yeah,
very extreme.
Very.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they have their little moment. They go outside now, and then he says something about like, my life isn't perfect or some crap.
Yeah.
Like that. And then he asks Veronica, is your life perfect? And she kind of sarcastically is like, yeah, I'm going to a Remington party. Ha 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 ha. And then she's like, you know what? My life isn't perfect. I don't really like my friends. And then JD's like, I don't really like your friends either, sis.
Right. He's like, day 2. I hate them. He's like, I've only been to that school.
I hate your friends. And then she compares her friendship as them being her coworkers in their jobs to be popular.
Right.
And then he's just like, well, why don't you take a vacation?
You can't, honey.
You can't take a vacation from popularity, okay?
Yes. So the next scene, the ladies are at the Remington party, of course, bro.
Yes.
And they met, they're like lovely dates.
Yeah, so they meet up with these dates.
They're very creepy and
you can tell that Veronica's very like uneasy. She doesn't want to be there.
They're giving date rape. They are giving poster boy, traditional like textbook 1980s frat boy date rape. Yeah, what's that?
What you think of a frat in the 80s?
That's what they're giving.
That's what they're giving.
They're giving that movie Animal House.
Oh yeah,
That's what it's
They're
giving.
giving Animal House for sure.
It's some kind of frat movie from the 80s that should be banned all across America.
I've never seen Animal House.
I never saw it either. I saw one scene and
I remember the guy. He's like the girl's drunk on the bed.
He's like debating if he should.
And it's like
he should rape her or not.
On his shoulder, he's debating if he should rape
her or not. And I'm like, what? Could you imagine going to see that with a boy? And he's like, I've been there before. I'm like, what? Like, who was like...
I know that dilemma.
I don't know. That movie, I think it should... I haven't even seen it all, but I saw that one scene. I was like, this has to be...
Click.
Like everyone involved in that movie needs to like...
be under the jail cell.
They need... We need a public apology.
Yeah, that's...
Because that is terrible.
That's bad. That really is
terrible.
Bad.
I'm gonna have to look at an article about that because if the director from that movie hasn't apologized yet, we're gonna have to Me Too him.
If he's not dead,
I'm sure he's alive and well.
But anywho, so they're at the Remington party, and it's kind of going back and forth with them at the Remington party, and then Veronica doing her like internal monologue at her house in her diary.
So we already know it didn't go well.
Yeah,
we don't. We haven't seen it yet, but we already know it.
Right.
The night has not gone well.
She's writing in her diary
angrily.
Yes,
fastly.
How much she hates Heather. So throughout the night, Heather kind of goes off with the guy that she was like linked up with, and then Veronica's kind of like playing like she's wing woman sort of with the guy's friend. We see lead Heather, making out with the guy. His name's like David or whatever, and she's like, "David, can we just like get back to the party?" And he's kind of like, "No." Right. And he's like, "I don't want to. You look so good tonight, blah, 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 blah." And then she kind of, like, reluctantly kind of, like, goes down on him.
She's pressured.
Yeah, she's peer pressured or coerced, you know, into giving him a little... Ugh. Yeah. And then Veronica is, like, talking to the guy, his friend, reluctantly. She's not into it. Like she wants to go home. Mm-hmm. She's not into it. Then... It's like back at Veronica. She's like writing in her diary, I hate Heather. And then we see Heather in the bathroom. And she's kind of like looking at herself and like, did I really just do this? Did I enjoy doing this? Probably not. You know, she's like evaluating what she's just done. And she doesn't look too happy about it. And she, you know, spits water. She drinks some water and she spits it back into the mirror.
It's the most human reaction we see from her this entire movie.
It's like, oh my goodness, you have thoughts and feelings. And then Veronica's back with the
her date
friend playing wing woman, and he's like, let's have sex on the couch. And then she's like, you know what? I have a speech for all the suitors that I give who don't understand no. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, save the speeches for Malcolm X, honey. I just want to have sex. And then she's like, well, you don't even deserve my speech. So she walks off. And then she runs into lead Heather. And she's like, Heather, I really don't feel good. Like, can we just like leave? Like I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Can we just jam? And then Heather's like, hell no!
Yeah.
Have you lost your mind? We're at a Remington party. And she's like, David said you're acting like cornball. I need you to get it together.
Which kind of sucks. I'm like, is she even having a good time?
Right. You were literally just contemplating your life in the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
And then so Veronica's like, she throws up on Heather. And then Heather kind of just like laughs because she's like excited. Ha 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 ha, you're so pitiful.
She's like not grossed out. She's like excited. She's like, yes.
She's like,
drama.
Yes. I can't wait to tell everybody
that you're an idiot.
Did. So then
the two go outside.
Yeah, she storms out of the party. They go outside. And then they exchange words. And then Heather's basically like, honey, I got you into a Remington party. You were nobody before you met me. You were playing Barbies with Betty Finn. And she was like, and where's my thanks? It's all over the carpet floor. Honestly, you threw up on me.
Honestly, I feel like is someone checking the door at the Remington party? Anyone can get in here. Right. I just need to know the date. I just know the date and the Addy girl.
I got you into a Remington party. It's a college party. Anybody could just walk through the door.
Exactly.
Like, this isn't a VIP party at the Grand.
Yeah, I'm a woman wearing a dress. I can get anywhere, thank you.
We're in Ohio, for crying out loud.
Ohio, yes. Like, it's not exclusive.
This isn't right. This isn't the Oscars. But, Veronica's like, lick it up, baby. Lick it up. I'm unapologetic for throwing up on you. Heather's just basically like, you're over come Monday morning. Transfer to Jefferson. Transfer to Washington. No one's going to play your reindeer games at Westerberg High anymore. And then Veronica's like, shit.
Right. Veronica's weird because she's like, part of her is...
She like,
it's like
his lifestyle,
opposing
it,
but she's like in it.
Right.
She like hates that they're being mean to Martha, but she's part of it. Like she's like gonna quit the group. I don't know. Right. Like what? She's an interesting character because I don't even know how she got. Well, I think the only reason she's in the group is because her handwriting. I think that's what she brings to the table.
No.
I think that's the only reason why I could see why. Because she's because she can like mimic people's handwriting, which I don't even know why that even matters. But like, why else would they invite her?
Cruel prank.
Yeah, into this group. And I still don't understand why she even wanted to be part of this group, but that might be something we try to figure out as we, recap this.
Right, as we unpack
this
film. But, so Veronica's like, crap. So now we're back at Veronica in her room writing in her diary, and she's basically like, I want Heather to die.
I want Heather to die.
As she's like,
journaling,
finishing her journal entry, JD pops up in her window and is like, hey, and then she's like startled, like, what the hell?
Real
and he's like,
Scream style.
Yeah. And he's
hey,
like,
girl.
oh, didn't mean to scare you. I saw the croquet, in the backyard. Want to play a match?
These are red flags. Why does he know where she lives?
Right.
Why does he know what bedroom her window is?
Right.
She's on the second story of her home.
How did you climb up?
Where's he getting the ladder from?
Exactly.
Why is her window open?
Is the ladder on standby?
Is the ladder on standby? A lot of questions. Very creepy. How long has he been there?
Right.
Like, did he, like, he was like, should she be home by now? Or has he been there the whole time?
She should have finished her journal entry precisely in 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and I'll make my way up there.
Yeah, concerned.
Ugh.
Very concerned. Weird. Red flags everywhere.
But he's still hot.
Yes.
So it's excusable. But, so he's like, you want to play a match of croquet? So, next scene, they played like strip croquet. So they end up playing strip croquet. And then they're naked and they're in her backyard and they've had sex.
Yes. And Jason's talking about her friends again. And he says that Red Heather deserves to die.
Yeah.
And that kind of starts his whole vengeance against Red Heather.
Then she's like, I just really want to, I guess because she threw up at the Remington party, Veronica's basically like, I want to see Heather throw up.
Yeah.
And then JG's like, let's kill her.
Yeah. Very
she's like,
definitely.
No, I want to see her throw up.
Yeah.
So, next scene.
It's kind of joking at first, but then we soon
it's kind of like, I'm not taking what you're saying seriously right now.
Yeah, it could start.
But then later, we kind of need to take what he's saying seriously. So next scene, though, they are at Red Heather's house, which also has some red decorations in it, now that I think about it.
Oh, that's right.
Her house has red accents, now that I'm thinking about it.
It's giving Mean Girls. It's giving, I take over the house. I'm that girl.
Right. So they sneak in through the kitchen. They don't really sneak in because the door's unlocked. And then Veronica's like, okay, so what should we make to, like, make her throw up? She's like, okay, milk and orange juice. Like, what's the upchuck factor on that? Will that get her to throw up? And then JD, he literally pulls out, like, this bottle.
It's called Hall Clean.
Yeah. And it literally has, like, the skull and the bones. And it has, in big letters, poison. He's like, let's give her this.
Yeah, it's like this blue gook.
Yeah. And then Veronica's like, that'll kill her.
She's like, right, we don't want to kill her.
No, that'll kill her.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Red flag. She's missing all the red flags.
And they just, like, make this weird, awkward eye contact. And then he just kind of, like, turns around. He's like, oh, guess not.
Yeah.
So, and then...
So, because while they're doing this, they both poured their preferred concoctions in the same cup. In two identical cups. And Veronica's like, let's go with the milk and the orange juice. And he's like, you're no fun, fine. And then, so once they make that decision, they kiss each other and have a little make-out session. He's hot, she's hot, let's do this. Yeah. And then, so she grabs his cup of poisoning by mistake while she's making out with him. And then, so she grabs it and she's like, all right, let's go to her room and give it to her. And then he notices that she's grabbed the wrong cup. And then he stops her at first and he's like, oh, Veronica. And she's like, yeah.
And then he's like,
never mind. You know, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. He's like,
never mind.
Yeah. He's like, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'm not going to stop God's intentions, his plans.
This is God's will.
Yeah, this is God's will. And I'm not going to be...
Who am I to stop God?
So, they walk into Red Heather's room.
And she's sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And she wakes up.
Pleasantly.
And she's like, Veronica, Jason Dean.
JD.
Why is she not like, what the hell are you two doing in my
I be
house?
screaming. I'm like, ah!
Right. I don't care how close we are. If one of my friends wakes me up at 7 o'clock in the morning while I'm sleeping in my house, I'll be like, why the hell are you here?
Especially with a strange boy who started school a week ago and is suspended already because he fake shot 2 people.
Exactly.
Excusez-moi. Get out.
She's like, hi, what are you guys doing here? And then Veronica's like, I feel like we said a lot of things that we didn't mean last night. I came over here to apologize, blah, 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 blah. And Heather's like, no. And then JD's like, look, I know you're hungover. We have this little home remedy here for you.
She's like on to him. She's like, I know you guys like put something in it.
Right. And then
she's not an idiot.
Veronica looks at JD and JD's like, Veronica, I told you she wasn't going to take it. She's too chicken. And then Heather's like, are you serious? You think just because you call me chicken, I'm going to drink it now? She's like, I'm not stupid.
Right. She's like, I'm not a baby.
Yeah. And then she's like,
give it here. He like uses reverse psychology and it freaking works because she's like a child.
Right. And then so she takes, remember this is now poison. She takes the biggest blue gook and she slugs it back. And she begins to choke. Mm-hmm. She begins to grovel.
And like you can see like the blue in her mouth.
Yeah, and her mouth
like
turns
instantly blue.
Instantly, and she's like slowly walking as she's like choking.
Yeah. She falls on like her glass table.
Her last words before she dies: corn nuts.
Famous last words.
Her last 2 words:
food.
Corn nuts.
Food.
So she's dead, people. She's dead. They killed her.
And then Jason and Veronica are like freaked out. She's like, oh my God, I just killed my best friend. And Jason's like, and you were sending me. She's like, same thing. Shut up.
Yeah.
And Jason gets this smart idea to be like, okay, let's just say she committed suicide. Veronica, you have great handwriting.
You can mimic anybody's handwriting.
Yeah. Let's write a suicide note and make it like she tried to kill.
The suicide note says something to the effect of like, no one really understood the real me. It was hard being this HBIC in charge, this popular chick. No one really knew who I was, so I killed myself. Basically, that's the gist.
And then the next scene, and this is
that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the scene.
Because so Jason's like, oh, write this, and Veronica's like, wow, you're really good at this. Like, have you done this before?
Damn. Do you think he's done this?
He kind of looks at like the camera.
Do you think he's done this before?
This isn't his first time at the rodeo.
I don't think it is. Is
not.
He a serial killer?
Yeah.
Is Jason Dean a serial killer? He might be. He's been all over the country murdering high school students. Oh my God.
This is his thing.
He's a serial killer.
He might be. We don't know for sure.
Yeah, I think he is.
The way he looked at that TV screen told us otherwise.
Yeah. So she's killed herself. Everyone thinks it's a suicide. In the next scene, we're back at the high school, and the teachers and the principals are in their offices, right, discussing the suicide and how to handle it.
They're not taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
The principal's like doesn't even want to give them like the day off.
Yeah.
And then like this one hippy dippy teacher is just like, why is no one taking this seriously? Like, oh my goodness, we have a suicide in our midst.
Yeah.
And she's like really like, we should have the students join hands and speak on their feelings.
Right. At first it's
cry.
At first it seems like genuine, but then it's like she just wants a moment.
It feels
it's just like good for her, but
later
it seems kind of like and then after that the girls are in so it's the 2 Heathers, Green Heather and Yellow Heather, because Red Heather has now died.
So now we're just down to 2.
Yeah, and then Veronica, and they're in the locker room, and they've just
we're talking about
Veronica.
and Heather's death.
And we learned they're only getting off an hour early due to the death, which
and then
tragedy.
Meanwhile, Heather Duke, Green Heather, the weak Heather. Remember, she's bulimic, but now she's like eating this like dark fried chicken, and then Veronica's like, "Whoa, Heather, if you don't slow down, you'll be eating food." And then like Heather Duke is like, she's like, It is what it is. I don't care.
So clearly her bulimia was caused by the stress that Red Heather was putting on her, because she was Red Heather was picking on her, and Green Heather was the weakest.
Yeah. And now that she's gone, you're seeing a tiny shift in Heather Dukes.
And then Veronica at this moment is starting to feel like guilty about the whole thing, to the point where she goes into the shower with all her clothes on, turns it on, and like takes a shower with her clothes on.
Yes.
And that's how stressed she's feeling. So she does have a soul. Mm-hmm. She just killed her best friend. Right. I can't imagine if I killed someone and I just had to like pretend like everything was normal.
I didn't kill her.
So much stress.
So next scene, we're in the hippy dippy teacher who wanted everybody to like join hands. We're in her classroom. Mm-hmm. She's talking about how Heather has died and everyone should share their feelings. And then this crazy lady reveals that she has her suicide note. How she got her hands on the suicide note, I don't understand.
Yeah. Don't understand. Who made copies?
Like, yeah, the girl died yesterday.
It was pretty messed up, and she like passes it around.
She's like, yeah, I want everybody to read it, and we're all gonna talk about it.
Right. Veronica is sitting off to the side, like this is a whole bunch of BS, because I guess everyone's like trying to talk positive about Red Heather, like they really liked her, but in reality, they all hated her and feared her. And Veronica's sitting off to the side, like, what? Did people forget? Like, she made you cry last week. What are you talking about?
Right.
So now we're at Jason Dean's house, and Jason and Veronica are watching the news, and they're reporting on Red Heather's death. Mm-hmm. And throughout the whole freaking news is Green Heather talking such nice things about Red Heather, like they liked each other. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Right. And like everyone's saying all these good stuff about her, and she's just basically like, all of y'all hated her.
Yeah. And then Jason's upset to see like Red Heather's even more popular in her death. Then so while they're hanging out, we meet Jason's dad. Yeah. Which he doesn't seem that important character, but he's really vital into Jason's development.
Instrumental into the development of the human being.
Yes.
That Jason Dean is.
Right. And his dad is a very interesting man.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
He's really into explosives.
And then Veronica's kind of like put off by him, like the dad. He's like, you can tell he's making her uncomfortable because you can tell he's a dude.
And in this scene, Jason, which has more of importance later, but Jason also mentions the last time he saw his mom, which was waving outside a building in Texas.
Yeah.
We don't know what that means yet, but... So the next scene... Yeah, very weird. Next scene, we're at Red Heather's funeral. And pretty much everyone is going up, to visit the body and say a little prayer, if you will.
Yellow Heather, she's basically, this stuff is hard to handle. Please let, Heather go into heaven. Even though she is going to hell.
Green Heather, she's the worst one. Green Heather says, "Dear God, I pray for Red Heather's death. And I know you're up there listening. Praise Jesus." Like, basically.
Like, I've prayed for Heather Chandler's death over and over and over again. And every time I just felt so wrong for doing it. But now I know you're listening. Praise Jesus. Hallelujah.
Right.
And then Veronica goes up and she's like, okay, like, if you're going to be technical about it, I really didn't kill her, God. But she's like, okay, who am I joking? She's like, I just want it to be... I just want my high school to be a better place, a happy place.
She said, I want it to be a nice place. Yeah. I was like, oh, she's kind of stupid.
She's weird.
She's kind of an idiot,
I don't get her.
Yeah.
I genuinely do not get her.
Right. So I guess like after the ceremony, Veronica and Yellow Heather are like off to the side, and Yellow Heather asks Veronica if she'll go on a double date with Ram and Kurt.
And then Veronica's like, look, I got this thing going with JP. And she's like, I really don't want to. And then Heather's like, please, I promise. Like, he's been really sweet since, like, lead Heather's death. He's been really comforting and consoling.
Yeah, which I'm so confused that she likes Ram. He's the idiot. Ram is the idiot one.
Ram is the dumb one. Ram's an idiot, and Kurt Kelly is the handsome one.
Yeah, and Yellow Heather likes her. I was like, why would you like him when you can have Kurt? I never understood that. I was like, what's the appeal for Ram? Nothing. He's an idiot. He's not even that cute. I don't get why anyone would date him.
But she can't have Kurt Kelly. She doesn't have the status.
I was kind of confused on where they
If someone was going to date Kurt Kelly, it would have been lead Heather would have dated Kurt Heather.
But anywho. And then Veronica makes Yellow Heather promise that their little double date will not involve them tipping cows in the middle of some farm in bumfuck. But before their date, Kurt and Ram are seen outside bullying a kid.
Oh yeah, at the funeral.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, Jason Dean sees this happen, and I have written here, ...
Oh, you think?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you think because at the funeral, Kurt and Ram are bullying these nerds, and Jason Dean saw it, he's like,
Next
y'all
on my
next.
list. Next on my list. I mean, I'm sure they were already on his list because of the whole gun thing, but I mean, he looks at them like intensely as he drives off.
Like Kurt and Jason Dean, they lock eyes.
Yeah. He's like next on my list.
Yeah.
You're bullying a kid after a funeral?
Yeah.
Dunzo.
You're Dunzo.
So, like we said, the next scene, the four of them is on this double date, are in fact
Ram, Yellow Heather, Veronica, and
Kurt.
Kelly.
They're in fact at a farm, and they're literally tipping a freaking
exactly
cows.
what Veronica said she did not want to do. They are in fact doing.
Have you ever tipped a cow before?
You know, Jordan. You are well aware that I've never tipped a cow ever.
I don't get the appeal of tipping a cow.
I guess because this cow can't get back up.
To me, that's also really messed up. That's like animal cruelty.
Yeah, it is.
It's messed up.
It's dark.
It's very dark.
Why are you tipping? Because you know the cow cannot get back up.
Yeah,
that's why people tip them.
I think it's like right under killing animals and like not being fine with it. I feel like it's right under there.
There's murder. There's animal cruelty. And there's tipping cows.
Watch out.
That's where I draw.
Right. Watch out for those people who think it's fun to mess up a cow's whole sleeping process.
Right. You're just throwing off their equilibrium.
Yes. So they tip a cow and like mud literally flies on Veronica and Yellow
Kurt and
Heather.
Ram are drunk as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then Veronica's like, you know what, I've had enough of this crap. And then we cut to like the next scene, which is like literally 2 minutes later. And
Ram is
literally
attacking
Ram and Yellow Heather. Ram is literally, it is borderline sexual assault.
Yeah,
he is literally like attacking the shit out of Yellow
he's
Heather.
like and then Kurt is trying to get at Veronica, which I'm very surprised. He really does seem like he like is attracted to her.
Sam, this is what I'm telling you. If it was 2001, Kurt would have a chance. He would have been a nice guy. But it's the 80s. Kurt has potential. Ugh. But anywho, so
Veronica,
Kurt is like drunk as hell. He's like following Veronica. He's like, Veronica, and she's like, oh, get away from me. And then Jason Dean pulls up.
Or has he been there the whole time? I don't know. So Veronica's like walking off. She's like, I'm ready to go. She sees Jason. So this is why I think he's stalking the popular group and why I think he was stalking Red Heather. Because he didn't know Veronica was going to be there. I feel like he was stalking Kurt and Ram.
Oh.
And he's like stalking the popular kids to like to see how they are. Because he didn't know Veronica was going to be there.
Maybe.
And he just
but
shows
how do we
up.
know that he knew that Kurt and Ram were going to be there?
He's following them. I'm like, he's literally following them.
Don't you get it?
Yeah, he's following them. He's following Red Heather wherever she goes. But I think he's stalking the popular people. Yeah. And Veronica just so happens to be hanging out with them, but she's not a bad girl. So he's like, I like you. Anywho.
Right. So he runs into her, he sees her, he's like, what the hell? And he's like, you know what? Then he goes on his like little monologue spiel. And he's like, I've been to 6 different high schools in like 2 years and the same thing. The only thing that is the same.
The only thing that's different.
The only thing that's different is his locker combination. He's like, it doesn't matter where he is. They're all the same.
And somehow that's the reason why he kills people.
And then he's like, do you want to get a slushie?
Yes.
And then so, they go off. She leaves with him. She's like, of course, babe, I love you.
And then the next day, we're back at school, and Veronica... Oh, so we're back at school, and we see the newspaper office club room or whatever they do, like their stuff.
Did you notice who's...
And in this scene is one of the few black people in this entire movie, but he's an icon. It is...
Freaking Marion Mosby from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. He's literally like the president of the newspaper.
I remember when they find out his name is Marion. That was so funny that you said that just now.
Marion.
I remember that episode.
Marion Mosby.
He is the captain or whatever.
I guess he's like the president
of the yearbook club. Yeah,
and he's like creating like the layout for like the yearbook, and he's like, and right here we'll have the center tribute to like Heather Chancellor. We'll have all these pictures of her, and at the top right we'll have her suicide note. Why is the suicide note in the yearbook? I don't know. That is dark and very convoluted and very morbid.
They're like making her suicide into like a popular thing. Like,
they're trying to make it a thing,
like clickbait,
and then like
almost.
even Marion Mosby, whatever his real name is in the film,
in the movie,
he's basically like, look, teenage suicide is in.
Right.
Like the top song in the world right now on
Teenage
Billboard hits
suicide,
is Teenage
don't
Suicide
do it.
by whatever freaking band.
Yeah.
And Westerberg finally got a suicide, and I'm not gonna let it slip through my fingers. Okay.
Right. We gotta get in on it.
And he's like, we gotta cash in on this while it's
Yes.
hot.
So while he's talking about that, Veronica walks in. He's like, great, Veronica. Do you have any, like, stuff?
Poems, pictures
that you want to, we can add to the thing? Because he's, like, explaining the whole, like, layout that he's going to. Veronica's like, what the F? That's weird. And she's concerned. She just came there to pick up the lunchtime poll because she was like, I'll do that from now on. But he's like, don't worry about it. Give me some.
Okay, well, she says something which causes another girl in the room who's like popular to be like, oh, well, you didn't say that last night or something like that. And Veronica's like, excuse me?
Come again?
Repeat that for me?
Yeah.
And then she's like, Kurt and Ram, blah, 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 said that y'all had a really good time last night or something like that. And then Veronica was like, yeah, I left Kurt wallowing by himself in cow crap. What are you talking about? And then she's like, oh, well, that's not what I heard. And then she's like, well, what the hell did you hear? And then Peter, he pulls her aside and he's like, he tells the girl who's like talking all the mess, he's like, shut up, Whitney, or whatever her name is. And then he pulls Veronica aside and he tells her, Kurt is spreading this rumor that Veronica gave Ram and Kurt. No, he says, the word he says is
sword fighting.
They played sword fight in your mouth last night. And then she's like, what?
She's pissed. So back at Veronica's room.
Next scene.
She's on the phone with Kurt, and she's pretending to be into him, and she's like, so I heard your rumor, and, honestly, I really wanted, to, like, make that happen, so let's, like, meet up.
It's a real fantasy.
Yeah. So she's like, bring Kurt and bring Ram and meet me in the woods like the next day. She's on the phone
with Kurt.
Yeah, she's like, meet me there the next day so we can fulfill this fantasy.
And JD's in the room.
And then we like cut to JD sitting right there. So it's all a lie.
Yeah,
Who knew?
She's bamboozling them.
Yeah.
And then so JD's like, this is great. This is excellent. Their plan now is to
do, for whatever reason, Veronica doesn't realize that the real intentions, but she thinks that they're going to try to, like, pull something similar to what JD pulled in the cafeteria. Like, he's going to get them out there, and we're going to scare them. Yeah. And so they're discussing the plan. Veronica is so JD's like, here, write this suicide note. Veronica's, like, questioning, why do I need to write a suicide note if we're just going to do the whole fire blanks at them?
Yeah.
And then Jason informs Veronica that we won't be using blanks this time, but we'll be using these type of bullets, and they're called beluga bullets
or something like that. And then she's like, oh no, baby. She's like, my Bonnie and Clyde days are over. She's like, I ain't about this. She's
right.
Like, I'm not doing that. And then he grabs, like, look, my grandpa in World War II, he used these things. The soldiers use these things called Veruca bullets or some German word.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, what they do, it's basically like a tranquilizer. They're not real bullets. You shoot them, they bleed, it pierces the skin, but it just leaves them unconscious, and they're not really dead. So Veronica's like, okay, so the plan here is to shoot these two with these tranquilizers to make it look like they've been shot, but they haven't. And then he's like, precisely. And while they're unconscious, they're going to unload this basket of, like, things that makes them look as if they're gay for each other.
So I think he's like...
So they're going to, like, leave out chocolates, and they're going to leave them naked.
They have, like, a gay magazine. And, like, mascara.
Crawford.
Yeah, and
makeup, then... alkaline water.
It's mineral water. Jason's like, this is the kicker. Yeah. Mineral water. And
he's like, this is the kicker that's really going to seal the deal that makes everybody think they're gay. Mineral water.
Right. And Veronica's like, what? And she's like, it's Ohio, honey. Mineral water. No one's drinking that. You guys are drinking water from a hose out here.
He's like, sweetheart, it's the 80s, and we're in Ohio. No one drinks mineral water.
And then, for some reason, Veronica buys this. She's like, oh, yeah.
She's like, yeah, shooting them with a tranquilizer.
That makes sense.
Bullet, a real bullet, that makes I totally understand.
Now they're calling tranquilizers bullets. So, yeah, that makes sense.
She's like, JD, I get it.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
So the next scene, we are finally in the woods. It is game day, and Kurt and Ram have arrived. And Ram has said, it's Kurt and Ram have arrived. They're looking at Veronica. She's looking at them, and Kurt,
she's like, hey boys.
Right, Ram is there. No one's saying anything, but Ram's like, so we do just whip it out.
He's like, do you just want to start whipping it out?
And Veronica's like, no.
She's like, actually, I made a circle for each of you to stand in. Ram, you go over here. Kurt, you go over there. On the count of 3, you guys will strip naked. And then Ram's like, okay, well, what about you? And then she's like, well, I just figured y'all could just rip my clothes off of me. And then Ram's like, yeah, okay, good idea. So they kind of like strip down naked. She turns around. She counts to 3. 1, 2... And then on the count of 3, JD pops out and he shoots Ram in the neck.
Veronica was supposed to shoot Kurt, but she misses. And she's like, oops, I missed.
She's like, oh, I missed, haha. And then JD's like, what the hell? You missed him completely?
Yeah, he's
and then
upset.
Veronica's like, oh, no, it's fine. Like, the look on his face, it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm weak. This is hilarious. And we're shooting them with tranquilizers.
Jason's like, stay here, and starts to run after Kurt. Still to Veronica, it hasn't clicked. JD's running after Kurt. She gets a closer look at Ram's body. She's like touching it, kicking it, or like pushing it.
And Ram is looking pretty dead.
He's dead.
It's not giving unconscious.
She shot him in his neck. Oh, he shot Ram in his neck and it's bleeding. He's not alive. I don't think even if you shot someone with a tranquilizer where she shot him, like they would probably still be like,
oh yeah,
pretty bad. I don't know, dude.
If you're gonna shoot somebody with a tranquilizer, you need to shoot him like in the chest, or in the arm, or in the ass.
Yeah, but he's pretty dead. For whatever reason, Veronica seems like a smart girl. It's not realizing it. Jason is still like doing this whole running montage. Somehow Kurt is an idiot. He runs back to where they started. And he runs back to where Veronica is. Jason yells, now! And Veronica shoots Kurt in the chest.
So yeah, now Veronica is she's kind of like in shock. Like
still not realizing it though.
It's still not connecting.
She's like, ooh, these are some strong bullets.
Right. She's like, Ram doesn't look too good.
Right.
And then meanwhile, there's these cops so many feet away, literally in their cop van or car, smoking weed.
Cop van.
in their cop mobile, smoking weed. And then one of the cops goes, okay, I heard it that time in regards to the gunshot. And then the other one's like, okay, let's check it out. So they follow the gunshot. They go to where they think they heard the gunshots, and then Veronica and Jason can hear they're coming. Yeah. So those two skedaddle. One of the cops stays and is like looks at the body, and another cop's like, oh, I heard something. He runs after them, but he can't really see them. But they're like running to try to get back to the car, and the cop is running after them, but he's not close enough to see them. Yeah, he's not. He's running. He's following the
noise. Yeah, but he's not
following people. He's following the noise.
So Jason and Veronica make it back to the car in enough time before the cop gets there to like undress and pretend that they're making out. Yeah. The cop stumbles upon them and he radios back to the other cop that's by the body. He's like, okay, there's nothing over here. There's just teens making out. So the two cops go back to the body where the body is, and they're like trying to suss out the scene. They're like, what's going on here? But they pretty much figured it out. They saw the mineral water and he was like, it's
mineral water and these two guys naked. They're gay.
They're gay for each other. They killed each other because they couldn't be with each other. He like reads the suicide note and that's what it says.
Something to the effect of like, Kurt and I died, or Ram and I died the day we realized we weren't able to take our love public and we were forced to live a life of two idiotic, sexist pigs. Right. And the love that we had for each other was more real than any football touchdown or some crap like that.
Should be writing notes. Should be writing them notes well.
They be hitting with.
They be giving them great notes.
They be hitting with the suicide.
So
the cops think nothing of it, and then they think it's a murder-suicide, and that's how that scene ends.
Yeah, so they rule it as a suicide. They're like, well,
Right.
bada boom, bada bing, that's it, baby.
So,
Case closed.
I guess it's like right after this, Veronica and Jason are back in the school parking lot, and Veronica...
She's like, we killed them.
Yeah, it finally hits.
Right.
That whatever beluga bullets aren't a real thing, or maybe a beluga bullet is just a type of bullet, girl,
right.
and not a tranquilizer, and
right.
it's finally hitting.
She's like, I'm such an idiot.
Right.
We killed them. And Jason's like, yeah. Duh.
Yeah. He's like, you believed it because you wanted to believe
it. Because your real thoughts of like wanting to kill them were too twisted for you to admit. But he's like, you knew the whole time that we were killing them. And then she's like, no, I didn't. And he's like, yes, you did. And she's like, no, I didn't. He's like, yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did.
Yes.
No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. They go back and forth for like 15 minutes.
So now we're at Kurt and Ram's funeral, and they're like laying by each other. They had joint funeral.
First of all, their funerals are together.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And their caskets are next to each other. And they both have helmets on in the casket. And the same priest.
Yeah, it's the same print, right?
Of Red Heather's funeral is the same priest that is the officiant of Kurt and Ram's.
They all went to the same church.
We all at the same church.
So, and then I think it's Kurt's dad is by the body. He's like, I don't care that my son was gay. I love my gay dead son.
Which is really sad. When you really think about it, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it was really sad.
He was like, I don't care that you were gay. Like, I still loved you.
Right.
Like, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then we're back at Veronica's house. She's writing in her journal about, the recent murders that her and her boyfriend have been doing.
Right. The recent murders that everyone thinks are suicide.
Yeah.
She's saying, these suicides have given these kids more popularity.
Like a new life, a new image.
Everyone's sad, but in like a weird way.
She says it's giving them a new image. It gave Red Heather death, Kurt a soul, and Ram a brain.
Right. And she's like, I don't know what it's given me, but it's giving you nothing.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know what it's giving me, but she's like, I can't control myself when I'm around JD.
Yeah.
So she loses all of her sense when she's around this boy.
Because she's weak.
She ain't got none.
She's weak-minded.
She ain't got no sense.
She loses her mind when she's around anybody with a stronger mind with her. Because she couldn't survive the Heather. She can't stand up for Jason. She's a weak girl, unfortunately.
Right.
And then, so now we're back at the principal teachers conference room, and all the teachers and the principals gather around, and they're talking about the consistent suicides. And the hippie teacher is like, look, y'all, it's about time y'all start...
Wait. Emphasis on the fact that it has only been a week.
That is intense. It has
only been a week since Heather's death and Kurt and Ram's death.
That is intense.
Girl, I'm thinking it's like 6 months later. It was
That's
week.
Intense.
7 days.
Intense. So the hippie teacher's like, it's time for me to take control. You guys didn't handle the last suicide well, and look what happened. And the principal this time agrees, because last time they were in the office, they called her hippie. They were like, girl, hush up.
But this time they're like, all right, we'll let you have your kumbaya moment.
Right.
Fine.
And she, which I don't understand how this is going to fix anything, but the hippie teacher's like, let's throw a pep rally to show support and love for everyone. And then somehow she also thinks a part of that is hiring a TV crew to come and report on the situation.
She's in the school after they have their little teacher conference, and they give her the green light to do whatever she wants. She's in the cafeteria, and she's like, everybody join hands. We all must share our feelings. And then she's like, oh, look, a camera crew.
Right. She's like, come on in.
Come on in.
And I think one of the big plots of this movie is they're not making fun of suicide. Because I've read somewhere the director or the writer was saying that he wrote this in a time where suicide was being sensationalized or being popularized or not being not necessarily taken seriously, but used as clickbait. And he was trying to make fun of that or bring awareness to the fact that people are just using it she was the hippie teacher was
using it let's put this on the
news and let's give me accreditation. It's they're using
you see how I'm orchestrating this beautiful
look at me at
me for these high school students
to the suicide.
Everyone's using the suicide for their own personal gain.
And
And Jason's just using it as a way to kill people.
Yeah.
And then, so now we're back at Jason's house. Veronica, like we said, is still pissed about suicide, like the way like all her these people's suicide is being sensationalized, and like
she's like this ain't
this is not right. This is not the appropriate reaction.
Right.
And Jason loves the chaos.
He's like, this is great. He's like, this is chaos. I love the chaos.
Loves
Don't you like the chaos, Veronica?
He's eating it up.
He's like, this is great.
Jason.
And then the song Teenage Suicide.
Don't
the
do it.
Hit song
Teenage Suicide.
in America is
Don't do it.
On the radio.
That's how the song goes.
That's the song. Do it again, Jordan.
Teenage Suicide. Don't do it. Teenage Suicide.
A real hit.
Just to push on the fact that suicide's being sensational, just sensationalize this band is making money off of the idea of telling people not to commit suicide.
Right. So Jason's like, look, the song's on. So he turns up the radio and everything. And then he's like, listen, you hear it, Veronica? You hear it? And then he shoots his gun at the radio. He shoots a gun at the radio. And then Veronica's like, That's it. I got enough. She throws in the towel. She's like, we're breaking up.
Yeah,
we're
it's done here. So.
And he's like, what?
Right. He's like, what? Are we not on the same page? She's like, no.
And he's like, girl, you can't leave me. So then she's like, I'm out of here. So then he like pulls her and he like kisses her. He like forces himself onto her and he kisses her. She kind of gives in a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. She gives into the kiss. And then she like pushes him back off and she's like, no.
Yeah, she loves.
No, stop.
She loves hate it.
Yeah, she's like she's giving into the toxicity. She
right.
She thrives on it.
She's like. She's lost in Jason, but she's trying to find her way out because they are killing people, and it's a little too much for her.
She's into it, but she's like, I gotta make my way out.
Right. And I also in this scene earlier, somehow I forgot how Jason starts talking about it, but he also mentions that his mom died. And what people claim is an accident, but he knows it's a suicide because she walked into one of her dad's buildings before it was blown up. So next scene is they're back at school and they're in like the chemistry classroom. And Jason has called a meeting with his I guess in his head is the newest popular Heather, Green Heather. And he shows her a picture of Martha Dumpstruck and her together.
Yes.
And Green Heather is very concerned because she does not want this getting out, you know?
Right.
This could ruin her career. She's on the up and up.
This could ruin her reputation.
She could be the next Red Heather.
Right.
But this photo will ruin her. So she's like so upset with this. She's like, I will give you all my lunch money if you like get rid of this. But Jason doesn't want to, to like ruin her career. He wants something from her. He wants her to be the new leader of the school. And I guess to her, she assumes this is like, I don't know, a nice thing, but we know he's up to something.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's up to, but he's up to something. He gives her a book. He gives her the book of Moby Dick, the book, for whatever reason. And then he also gives her a red ribbon. Civilization!
Okay, yeah, so he's just creating his monster.
Yeah, his monster.
He's planting the seed.
Yes. So now we're back at Veronica's house, and Veronica has invited Betty Finn over to play croquet.
Cricket.
Cricket.
No. Not cricket.
Croquet?
Croquet. Croquet. Fuck it.
Crack. They're playing the game of crack. Whatever. They're playing the game for Bridgerton. Anywho. So the two are catching up on, their lives, and they're each playing the game of the game that they keep playing in this movie. Croquet. And then the other Heathers have arrived, and Betty's like, and then Betty's like, I'm out. This is not my crew. Gotta go.
She's like, well, I guess I'll leave now.
Yeah. Bye, girl.
And then Green Heather's like, bye.
Right.
Get out.
So just when, Veronica was trying to get back, with her old crew, the Heathers have showed up, and she's like, this is my life now.
Yeah.
So the next scene is like we're zoning in on Martha Dumpstruck.
Dumpstruck.
The one with the real problems. She's if anybody has mental health problems. Yes, the one.
If anybody is struggling with their mental health, it's Martha. Martha.
Yes. So she's like at school. I guess they must have had like a basketball game or something. And she's like she was at one point surrounded with a lot of people, and at the end of the game, she's sitting there by herself, and she looks really, really sad.
Pitiful.
And so we get that scene, and then we're like jump back to Veronica at her house, and her parents are watching the latest news craze about the suicide.
We're seeing the scene that was in the cafeteria.
The pep rally.
the
holding
kumbaya
hands
moment with the hippy dippy teacher,
Yes.
and she was acting like she didn't know the news crew was coming.
Yeah.
We're seeing that on the TV screen.
And then her parents are like into it, but Veronica's also upset again to see everyone making suicide. She's like upset to see that everyone's making suicide a cool thing.
Yeah.
And her parents are weird.
And she's like, can't you, Veronica's she's trying to tell her parents, she's like, can't you see they're just trying to like glorify suicide?
Yeah. And then we see Martha. She's like outside the school. She has a yellow,
she has a note
loosely
strapped to her chest.
And you can tell like she's walking taking into traffic. And then boom, we're back to Veronica's house and Green Heather has arrived to tell Veronica the news about Martha.
So like Martha tried to kill herself by walking into ongoing traffic. It didn't really work out for her. She's still alive.
And Green Heather is there to gloriously.
And then so Veronica's like
gossiping.
Out. She's like, oh my god, is she dead? And she was like, no. And Green Heather's like, no. She was like, just another case of like a loser trying to imitate the popular kids.
Another reason why like suicide is being seen as like a cool thing to do, because only the cool people are doing it
and are successful at it.
Yeah.
And then so when Heather says that, Veronica smacks Heather across the face. And then Heather's like, what the ow!
Hell? Yeah. And then now we're upstairs in Veronica's bedroom.
And then Veronica's like, I'm sorry.
Right.
You.
She's like, whatever.
And then
you did the most.
Heather Duke is like, you're out of control.
And then Veronica's like, oh, whatever. Let's listen to their favorite radio station, which is called Hot Probs.
Or some crap like that.
No, it is called Hot Probs.
That's what it's called. Hot Probs.
Yes. So they're listening to it. I guess they listen to it all the time. And they hear a girl call in. She's like, hi, my name is Heather. And they're like, She's like, no, it's not Heather, it's Mouse, or it's like TV or something.
She's idiot. Like, no, my name's not Heather. It's Tweety.
Yeah, something. It was like Twitter. Yeah, it was like Twitter or something.
It was Tweety.
Yeah, that was funny. And they're like, doesn't she know we listened to it? And doesn't she know she just said her name?
So yeah, the girl who's calling in is Yellow Heather.
Yeah, she's complaining about the fact that her boyfriend committed suicide. And then the fact that she didn't make head cheerleader.
And Veronica's like, why would she do this? She knows we listen to this show.
And
then
Green Heather,
Heather Duke is like, girl, wait till Monday morning. Like, I'm gonna tell everybody.
I guess the way of like sharing people's like pitfalls is like must be a way to get popular.
Yeah.
Because, like, Red Heather was, like, so excited when old girl threw up on her shoe. But I guess, like, making fun of people is a way to get popular. So, like, now she has, like, content to spread to the school.
That's how you social climb.
Yeah, that's how you social climb. So she's, like, ecstatic. She's like, great, I can use this to my advantage.
Ammo.
So, the next morning, we're back in school, and we're in the classroom. Veronica, Yellow Heather, and Green Heather are in the same class together.
Veronica is like minding her business.
Writing her diary.
Has taken full shape, full form.
Yeah.
As the HBIC in charge.
She is
now the leader. I mean, there's only two Heathers, but she is now the main Heather. She's the it girl now.
What's the girl from Mean Girls? I'm sorry.
Regina. She's is now Regina George.
Times 10.
Veronica makes something, like, she makes a comment, like, she's, like, writing in her internal monologue in her diary. She's like, I killed Heather Chancellor not knowing that I would cut her head off, and two Heather Dukes, Green Heather, would grow in its face.
Yeah,
Yellow Heather is, like, sitting in the classroom all sad because now everybody knows her secret about her calling in some hot probs.
They're basically talking crap about her right in front of her. These are problems. She didn't even say anything crazy. She's like, I'm upset that my boyfriend is dead and I didn't make it.
She's like, I'm upset that the guy that like turned out to be gay and he killed himself.
It wasn't even it's not an embarrassing thing to say.
Right.
And it's just like, wow, you can't even be like sad at this school.
You can't even have
feelings. Like, our friends are committing suicide, and I'm upset about it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I wanted to vent about it.
Yes.
But everybody knows that she called into the radio station, and she runs out of the classroom in, like, despair.
And
Veronica follows her.
Yeah, Veronica follows her. And Veronica walks into the bathroom to find Yellow Heather swallowing a bunch of, like, or trying to swallow a bunch of pills. Veronica comes just in time to, smack it out of her.
Smacks her in the face. She makes her spits out the pills.
Hard.
Yeah, they have like a heart-to-heart moment.
She's like, Yellow Heather, calm down. And now we're back in the chemistry lab, which is apparently Jason's and Green Veronica's like secret lair. Yeah. This is where they meet.
Their meeting spot.
So they're meeting up again,
And Jason's like, you've been doing a great job. 10 out of 10. Love the work.
Love the work.
Love the work.
Doing.
Yes. You're giving boss
Keep it
girl.
up.
Yeah, keep it up the work.
Keep it up.
But I have a new assignment for you. So he tells her that he would like her to go around to pass a petition to get this band to come play at their prom. It's a band that made Teenage Suicide. Don't do it. So apparently they need to sign this petition to get into prom.
And then he's like, you're the only one who can do it because you're Heather now. You're the lead Heather. You're Miss Popular. And then she's like, I'm on it, coach.
Right. And while she's doing that, they also burn the photo of her and Martha. Yeah. It's like the deal is sealed. Their fates are chosen. They're besties.
She has made the deal with the devil.
Yeah. And her past aggressions or friendships are
and she's no longer wearing green. She's now in red.
Yes. So in the hallway, I have this right now. Green Heather is dressed in all red, soaking in the sun of her newfound popularity. Right. She's basking. Right.
She's getting everybody to sign the petition for this band to perform at prom, and she's basking in the glory of her newfound popularity.
And then Veronica confronts Green Heather, now wearing red, about her lying to people about what the petition is for.
She's like, Billy Reed told me that he thought the petition was to get a new hot tub in the gym.
Right, or something like...
And Alyssa Sawyer thought the petition was to feed hungry kids in Africa.
Right, she's just lying. Which, I mean, I guess this is the worst thing, but...
But she says something very ironic.
What'd she say?
So when Veronica's like, you're lying to people about what the petition is for, and... Heather goes, some people just need different convincing for different, you need to lie to people to convince them to do what you need to do. Mm-hmm. But unbeknownst to her, this petition that she is signing is for something completely different. That she's asking everybody to sign this petition, but she really doesn't know what this petition is.
She's also being lied to.
We'll
tell you about that later.
It's the irony of it all.
Yes. She's also being lied to. And then Veronica tries to smack her again, but green Veronica, now red Veronica, is like, green Heather, now red Heather is like, no. So, and then Green Heather walks away, and Jason pops up.
JD enters.
And asks Veronica on a date. He's like, I've been doing good. We had a little break. You want get some lunch?
He's like, you want to see a movie? Grab some popcorn. And then Veronica's like, I'd rather slit Heather Duke's wrist. And he's like, oh, now you're talking my language, baby.
Why would she say that?
Because I guess she's pissed off. She's like, oh, this girl's working on my nerves.
She's so confused.
She's like, I've already murdered 3 people. What's one more?
Why would she get him going? Why? Why it's not even
hot and heavy
it's not even an expression. He will literally do that.
Right.
And he doesn't need much convincing.
She's being sarcastic, but he's being serious.
Why would she say that?
Because she's like, oh, I'd rather slit her throat. He's like, oh my God, yes.
She's like, yeah. So we're getting back together.
Yeah. He's like, oh wait. He's like, why are you playing? I already have the suicide note
exactly.
lined up.
Right. So yeah, he's very happy to see that.
He literally already had the suicide note lined up.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, we can totally do it.
Tonight?
And he's like, he grabs her and he's hugging all on her. And he's like, oh, I knew you'd be back, Veronica. He's like, I just knew it. I knew you'd come back. And then in the moment, she's giving in a little bit. And then she's like, oh, she pushes him off.
She's like, it's over.
Like, no, I'm not going to do it.
It is over,
Respect.
baby. So now we're back at Veronica's house, and Veronica is walking through the door, and she's her parents sitting there at the couch, kind of waiting for her. And Veronica's parents tell her that Jason stopped by to warn them that Veronica might kill herself.
What?
Yeah, and he left a note for her, and it says...
Yeah, she goes up to her, she's like...
No, she's still downstairs, because he gave her a note, and the note says, recognize his handwriting.
I didn't get that part. Did you get that part?
He's saying this is your hand. I think he's just trying to it's a threat. Oh, recognize his handwriting.
It's her handwriting?
Yeah. It's a threat to say that's been doing.
Oh, he's saying I could kill you.
I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, it's a threat.
Oh. Wow.
So that's why he's like, it's a threat and I can make it look like suicide. He's like, oh, scary. It's a no, it's a death. He's like, you denied me earlier.
Dang.
Yeah, so it's a threat. And it's a scary one because she created this monster, basically. So she goes to a room to find a Barbie doll hanging from a noose from like the ceiling fan.
And then the T-shirt that the Barbie doll has on says "Teenage Suicide."
Does it? Oh
Yeah.
God! And from all the stress, she takes a nap. Amen,
Yeah,
girl.
she
She's like, I cannot. I cannot. I need a
must go to
nap.
sleep.
I have to go to sleep. She's like, after all this, I need a nap.
So she takes a little nap, and then she wakes up, and then Jason is like at the edge of her bed or something like that. And then he's talking about like Moby Dick, because that's the book he gave Heather.
He gets real.
Moby Dick starts to surface a lot towards you. He's literally like spewing nonsense.
Yeah.
He's literally like, and then he like grabs her and he drags her down to the kitchen. And then he like pulls out a knife, and then I don't even know what they're talking about.
Well, so this part is a little confusing, but they're in Green Heather's house. So he's like, let's go. And then somehow they get into Green Heather's kitchen.
And then so he pulls out a knife and he's like, this will do it. And then she's like, that knife is filthy. Green Heather.
Because he wants to like slit her wrist with it.
Slit her wrist. And he slit her wrist. And she's like, Green Heather would never like kill herself with a knife this filthy. And he's like, what the hell does that matter? And he's like, who cares? And then he's like, let's write the suicide note. And then she's like, I'm not writing another suicide note. It doesn't matter. He grabs her arm. He grabs her hand. He forces her to write the note. And like, it says like, life sucks. And he's like, nobody cares what the suicide note is about. Nobody cares what the reason is.
Right.
If it's suicide, if it has a note attached, he's like, it doesn't matter. They'll believe it.
The people are going crazy. They love it. They're eating it up.
He's like, it doesn't matter what the note is. It doesn't matter what the reason is. They're going to eat it up.
They're eating it up.
And he goes into Green Heather's room to like slit her wrist. And Veronica runs after him, and he closes the door. He locks the door, and she banging on it. She's like, stop.
Yeah, but
then she wakes up, and it's a dream.
Oh no, it's not there yet.
Oh,
but it's too late because now we're at Green Heather's funeral. So now we're at our funeral.
Right, now we're at Green Heather's funeral.
And then it's the same priest from everyone else's funerals.
Priest from everybody's funeral.
And then we look in like I want to call it the audience, but not the audience, but the people who are attending the funeral, and everyone's wearing like these white gowns, and they have those like old school 3D glasses on, like you would wear at like a movie theater. Figure out it's a dream.
At that point, you forgot it's a dream.
And then all to the side, Veronica is talking to Red Heather's ghost. And Veronica's like, ugh, this funeral is so whack. I had at least 70 more people at my funeral.
And then Veronica's like, oh my God, Heather.
She's like, she asks her about the afterlife. She's like, it's totally lame.
Yeah, she's like, Veronica, it's so boring.
Yeah, right.
She's like, I hate it here. I'm like, oh my God.
And then Veronica wakes up, and it's like an all the. So now we're back at Veronica's room, and she is again writing in her journal about how she's gonna like not being able to stop Jason. And she's like, she comes to the conclusion based on her journal that let's see how he handles a suicide he didn't cause, or like, so we're made to believe that she's about to kill herself almost. And then the next scene, we see Veronica hanging from her ceiling fan from like the sheets, and she's like killed herself. And Jason, creepy self, has somehow snuck into her room and finds her dead body.
And he's like, what the hell? I was gonna do this. You beat me to it? And he's like all distraught. And he was like, I was gonna come here to win you back. And if I couldn't win you back, I was gonna kill you. So he gets in there. He's like, here's what I was going... He's telling what he thinks is a dead Veronica.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my plan the whole time. This petition that I had Heather Duke running around getting everybody to sign was really a suicide pact. It wasn't a petition for whatever the band name was that sings Teenage Suicide to perform at prom. It was a suicide pact.
So he plans to blow up the school. When he reveals he plans to blow up the school.
Yeah. So
real dad style.
Yeah. Just like his dad. So when his dad was showing him the video of the building that he blew up and he got all googly-eyed, that's where he got the inspiration from.
So he's telling her this, and he hears Veronica's mom coming up the stairs, and he runs off. And and Veronica's mom opens the door to find her daughter hanging there.
And she's like, I should have let you go to that mall the one time you asked. And I should have let you get that job at Bloomingdale's. And I should have let you get that car. And I'm so sorry. And then Veronica, like, she pops her head in. She's like, oh, hey, Mom.
She like, was able to tie the sheet like around her stomach, so like she wasn't really like choking. Like the weight wasn't around her neck; it was around her around her torso. So she wasn't like dead. Yeah, so she's not dead. So
her mom thought she found her dead, but she really just found her.
Yes. And then the next scene, we see Jason at his house getting the explosives together. He's like putting it all together. He's getting ready for his big day tomorrow. His equipment. And then, so he's done with that. So now we're back at the school. So Jason's walking around with his bag of explosives. He like puts some in the bathroom. He puts some under the bleachers. And and he's on his way to put some in the boiler room.
So Veronica's on the hunt to find him because there is a pep rally that is going on that day. And so majority, if not all of the students are going to be in the gym for the pep rally. So he puts majority of the explosives in the gym where the pep rally will be held. And then some in the boiling room. I don't really get what
so the point
behind the boiling room.
So Veronica runs into this like loser guy and she asks him what's under the gym, the boiler room. So the point of him putting the explosives in the boiler room is that they blow up. Like they're like the first of contact. So if this is the gym, right under is a boiler room. Like that's like if you put a bomb right under where we're sitting, we're instantly dead.
So just double the weight.
I guess the way explosives work, we have to like stack them to make it like come down all as one. So he's like purposely placing it.
Correct. So she goes down to the boiler room. She finds JD. And then he sees her. He realizes she isn't dead. And he's like,
love you, girl.
He's like, oh my
God, you.
Babe, you're still alive?
Yeah, and look at you. Who'd have ever thought we were here?
Right. And then she has like a gun to him. And he's
Where'd she get this gun from?
Girl, I don't know. She probably stole one of his. And then he like basically hits her, takes her to the ground, and he gets away. And he goes deeper into the boiler room.
For whatever reason, he doesn't like tie her up or like put her out to the side or like put her in identity. He just like leaves it there and he goes into the boiler room.
So then she's like unconscious for a little minute. Yeah. She wakes back up. She goes down to the boiler room.
Looking for him.
She's on her tippy toes. You know, she's not trying to make a lot of noise.
She finds a fire extinguisher and like she like sneaks up on Jason and like hits him, like was about to hit him over the head with it, but he like kind of sees her coming. So the two are like fighting, and he does a whole thing where he like fight kisses her again. He like
he is not giving up on her.
He's so horny.
He is not giving up on her.
He's like, just so horny.
It doesn't matter how many times she rejects him, he will fight to the finish to find her because she literally hits him overhead with a fire extinguisher, and he pushes her and he like grabs her and kisses her, and she's like, dude, like no.
I think he's like so turned on about like after they shot the two jocks, he's like making out, but he's like into it.
Out in the car. It's like the abuse like gets him hot now.
Yeah. He's like the intensity. He's like, I love it. He's like, should we have sex right now? No, not the time.
Sure?
You sure? Right.
I really think this is a great time, G.
Right.
I really think this is a great time.
So somehow the two break apart, and Veronica finds a gun, and before she can pick it up and shoot Jason, he runs off and hides. Yeah. And then she starts looking for him again. She finds him. And she finds him, like, right where the bomb, like, the explosives are.
Right where he planted the explosive in the boiler room.
So she's like, how do you turn it off? He's like, F you, Shawty. Yeah. I'm not telling you. She, like, shoots his finger off, too.
Yeah, she accidentally shoots him, and, like, she shoots his... Well, it wasn't an accident.
But she
shoots at him, and she shoots his finger off.
It's kind of gruesome. You can see the bomb. There's like 40 seconds left on it. So like this is like serious. Like, how do I turn this thing off?
And then he's like, the only way he goes on one of his like
speeches,
dramatic spiels, his speeches. He's like, the only way that teenagers can ever live in harmony and get along is in heaven.
He just misses his mommy.
Yeah, he's got
his dad's a douche.
He's got mommy and daddy.
Yeah. Issues. His dad's not loving him. He's never gave him the love he needed, and his mom. He saw his mom commit suicide in front of his face. So I guess that's where it's like a Dexter moment.
He's just messed up.
So eventually he tells her. Actually, I was kind of confused by this because it's not like she presses the button, but she shoots something and he stabs something.
This thing, it gets confusing because like the bomb is like literally 15 seconds from going off, and I guess he was about to like charge at her or something, and she shoots at him. And when she shoots at him, he has a switchblade in his hand. And he his body like jerks, and the switchblade goes into the bomb, which keeps or detonates the bomb from going off.
Stops the bomb from going off.
Yeah, detonate means explode.
Yeah.
It undetonates the bomb from exploding. And
somehow that stops
the bomb. Stops. The pep rally's still going on. The kids are still in the gym cheering. Mm-hmm. She exits the boiler room. She enters the gym. She sees all of the kids.
She's happy to see everyone happy.
The pep rally. She looks like crap because she's
shitty. And so she makes her way outside. It's been a day. She's like, I need some air.
She's like, I'm out of here, bro.
So literally,
she makes her exit from the high school.
Yeah. So she's outside. Literally, after 5 seconds of being outside, JD is like right behind her.
like she literally shoots him and he's like still not dead.
It's not even like a wow. He's like literally hot on her tail. Right. So he like is like impressed with her. He says she had a power that he didn't know she had, which makes me believe that he thought she was like super weak and was easily manipulated and was going to go along with his whole scheme this whole time, and was very surprised to see that she was able to stand up against him because she is also weak-minded. She is. She has potential to be different.
She has the potential to be a leader.
Yeah, but she just can't. It's just like when strong-minded people come into her circle, she falls in line. Yeah. She might not be 100% go for it, but she like follows.
It's like red pill or blue pill. Like she could go either way.
Yeah, but I think at this point she's finally. After all this, she finally is getting. Yeah, she finally figured out who she is. She's like, no means no. I know who I am. Yeah. It's a little late. And it took a lot, more than the usual.
It's quite the rigmarole.
But she is able to stand up to him, and I'm assuming if any Heather comes her way, them too.
So he delivers this nonsense eulogy because throughout this movie he always spews nonsense. And, I don't know, he walks away from her, and he still has the bomb. He still has a bomb attached to himself.
Yeah, he wrapped some explosives around him. I guess this was like his kill scene.
And it's like 30 seconds from going off.
Yeah.
He's giving her this eulogy,
he's
blah,
like
blah, 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 blah.
5 inches away from her, and he's got a bomb attached to him.
He's literally like 3 feet away from her. And
he's like, okay.
I think he asks her.
He asks her like a lunchtime poll. It says... Pretend that I did blow up all the schools. Now that you're dead, what are you going to do with your life?
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that mean?
She doesn't answer.
Yeah.
She pulls out a cigarette and she watches him explode.
She like kind of pays her respects.
Explosion.
You know what's funny?
What?
Throughout this whole movie, he's the only one that actually commits suicide.
Oh.
He's the only one to actually kill himself.
Oh my god.
The one who's been going around killing people who quote unquote committed suicide. He's the only one that actually committed suicide.
He is.
Because this whole time he wanted to, I guess he just hasn't processed the death of his mother. And they kind of died in a similar way. While he wasn't in the build, I mean, they both exploded basically.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But he was the
You're right, he does commit suicide.
Is that crazy? The only one.
And okay, so now she looks even worse.
Yes. So he's killed himself.
She looked like crap, but now she was 10 feet away from the explosion. So now she really looks like crap.
So she's heading back into the school.
So she goes back into the school. She runs into.
Well, the kids are out running around because they've heard the explosion.
They heard the explosion,
and they're like, "What's that?"
They're like, "Oh my god,
what's going on?"
Like running in chaos because they heard this explosion. Heather
Green Heather.
Excuse me. Veronica uncouth. Walks into the school. She runs into Green Heather, now lead Heather. She's in red, even though her color is green. Heather Duke, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And Heather goes, oh my god, Veronica, you look like you've been to hell. And then she's like, I've been to hell and back, baby.
Right, literally.
And she kisses her on the mouth. Not on the mouth, on the cheek.
Like a cheek mouth.
She pulls the red scrunchie out of her hair. Veronica uses the scrunchie to tie up her hair. And she's like, Veronica, honey, there's a new sheriff in charge. So now we see the transition of Heather Duke, Green Heather, very short-lived reign, being stripped away from her. And Veronica's like, your reign is over. I'm the new agent.
I'm bringing peace.
In charge. She's like, I'm bringing peace and unity to Westerburg.
If you don't fall in line, I will kill you.
She's like, you ain't got to fall in line, but honey, you gonna know that I am running this show, all right?
Right.
So Heather walks off in disbelief. She's like, oh, whatever. And then Veronica, with her red scrunchie, she walks into Martha Dumpstock.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
She's been called by her proper name.
We're gonna call her proper name. And she's like, "Hey Martha, my prom date kind of flailed on me. He's dead." She's like, "Hey, my prom date kind of flailed on me."
I never took that as the fact that like he literally just died outside.
She's like, "Hey, my prom date kind of flaked on me. He's dead."
Exploded.
So I'm not really going to prom. She's like, "What are you doing a prom night? Do you want to like watch popcorn, watch some DVDs?"
You said watch popcorn.
And Martha, watch popcorn. Oh,
yeah.
Excuse me, eat popcorn.
Watch a movie.
Some DVDs. And Martha, remember, she tried to kill herself. So she's like in a wheelchair. And she's like, yeah, I'd like that a lot. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds like a plan. So then they like walk off. Well, she's in a wheelchair. Or a scooter. Yeah. But Veronica and Martha scoot off together.
Yeah, to the sunset.
And like in the hallway, into the sunset.
I know, it's so cute. They're like gonna be besties.
I literally wanted to cry when I watched it. They're like walking off together, and then Martha's like in her scooter, and she's like doing like wheelies around Veronica, and like
it's
Veronica's
very cute.
like laughing. And it's just like the most beautiful thing.
LOL,
ever.
you look like cry right now.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh my god, she's drunk too much.
Oh,
yeah. It is sweet. But anyhow,
that's how the movie ends.
So Veronica is going in on her promise. She's beginning her reign of the nice high school. Yeah, she's starting with Martha.
She wanted her high school to be a nice place, and that is what she's going to do.
So
I'm surprised it actually didn't end with her and Betty Finn, but I like the Martha.
I mean, that's a start. I think she's definitely gonna be friends with Betty Finn again.
Oh yeah, we already saw her and Betty Finn reconnect when they were playing croquet or cricket or whatever. But in an alternate ending.
Oh yeah.
The original ending for the movie was JD was actually supposed to successfully blow up the school, and all of the teenagers were supposed to be in heaven at prom. That was the alternate ending. That was the original ending. But the people
they were like, "Come on!"
They were like, "This is too dark. No one's gonna watch this movie with this ending." So
I wouldn't mind that ending. I could see them like at prom, still doing the same BS, like, "Oh my god," blah blah blah, blah. Or like in heaven.
Yeah.
I think it'd have been like funny.
I wouldn't have liked it. I get it, but I wouldn't have liked it.
I wouldn't have minded.
That's it. That's a wrap on episode. What is it? 7, 8, 9, 7,
7 or 8.
Right.
Please don't spoil the movie. All right, bye guys. See you next time.
Jesus.
Follow us on. Oh, we should do a call to action if you made it this far.
Not a call to action.
We're supposed to.
Follow us on Instagram. Like, subscribe, comment, share, post.
Leave a review on Apple.
Review. Tell us what you want us to review next.
Yes.
You can follow us at Please Don't Spoil. That is our Instagram handle. Goodbye.
Adios. See you later, loves. Mwah.